Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 166th edition of the broadcast here in the Issues Room. Today is July 4th, 2023. It is the independence of one of the most powerful nations on the face of the earth, the United States of America. And we're privileged, rather, to be in these United States where there's press freedom to be able to discuss the things that matter to Liberia, our native homeland, the African continent, and the diaspora of Black people. We say thank you for joining us wherever you are. Welcome to this 166th edition, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11 p.m. in Liberia. We want to invite you, if it's your first time here in the Issues Room with us, come back. Make this the place to be. If you're here all the time with us, like Mapu Hall, who just joined us, we say share the link, invite others to join us here tonight. The conversation going to be great. We're looking forward to our studio guest, Mr. Blojay Urey, Arab Blojay Urey, known as Choppy Charlie. He is the former CDC Policy and Communications Director, National Director. We're still awaiting his presence. In the meantime, we have one of our newest discussants who will join us here tonight, Mr. Samuel Abu, who is the former Minister Counselor at the Liberian Embassy in Washington, D.C. So again, we say thank you so much for being there this happy 4th. The firecrackers rolling. We'll talk about it a little bit, where the firecracker was banned in Liberia for years, but in America, we enjoy it. Let me go backstage and bring our brothers here, starting with Moses Sandy and Alphonso Yenon, and then we'll bring in another legend, Samuel Z. Abu. Gentlemen, happy 4th. Welcome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Volcano.
thank you, Volcano. Happy fourth to you. Happy fourth to you, brothers Moses Sandy and Samuel Abu. Abu, great to see you in the
Uh,
issues room.
Thank you so much. And I say happy 4th to our viewers and listeners, and also to you, the great host of the Issues Room.
Thank you.
Thank
Gentlemen,
you.
we're not going to stay here all night because we got to go see the fireworks some kind of way. Since Joe banned fireworks in Liberia, we have had the privilege to enjoy here in these United States.
And I,
What you remember of the day of the firecrackers in Liberia prior to President Joe becoming president, and that beautiful, fun activity we used to have around Christmas, yeah, 26th Flag Day, our major holiday. Let's start with you, Abu. You're the first in the issues room, first time here.
yeah, you see, the thing about the firecrackers in Liberia, we had different types that came, especially close to the celebrations. The one I used to love most is the starlight, where on a thing you see it splashing, and they had some that could do a lot of things. But we used to do it really at public places. First, they banned it at public places because sometimes we know very much that some people are afraid when they hear it. So you go and light it right near there. So when they explode, you see them jumping and falling. That used to be the great fun that I ever heard.
Moses, Alfonso, what your memory?
Well, like the former minister councilor said, Mr. Abu, it used to be a lot of fun as a young man growing up in Monrovia. That's when we knew that the season was around. So we always look forward to that. But for me now, as an adult, um, having experienced war trauma, being in a surrounding like that can be very, very fearful, especially for people who, like the soldiers who come from the battlefront. Whenever they hear firework, it takes them right back to the battlefield. So they becomes very, very vigilant because they not know whether they are about to be attacked. So it reminds people of war trauma. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah, definitely. I used to like the rocket type, so the one you light and it just shoots, all the way
Mm-hmm.
into the sky. So that was beautiful. But as Moses said, I think that was one of the reasons why It was even eventually banned in Liberia because, after the coup happened, all of the shooting and the potential, because a lot of those things, especially the ones that exploded, have certain components in them because the explosives in them could be used to build, bombs and stuff that could hurt people. So I think that was one of the reasons why it was banned as well. But it was fun.
And yeah, interestingly, I was about to say my favorite was the knockout, and Manesumo, remember the knockout. The knockout was the big one. You could put that stuff in a bottle and it will explode the
It
bottle.
will
And
explode,
you
yeah.
plug a hole halfway and you shot it in there, it would dig the ground like you threw a grenade. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys remember the knockout. That was my
Mhm.
favorite.
Yeah.
And then the other small one that you could hold in your hand on the fire. We
Yeah.
wanted to act brave,
And hold it. Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
we
yeah.
hold it in our hands, and then it would light down to the
To the bottom.
explosion. Yeah, and then it just go bam in your
Explode.
finger, and then you see the
Yeah.
black stain.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the good old days. But that
Yeah.
was man. So yeah, we gonna see celebration here tonight. Fireworks. What my man say? He said I used to sell my empty bottles and use it.
You the bonfire
Man,
crap.
we also bottle. We also
Yeah.
bottle, especially when the bottle man come from the factory. Let be in
My
the bed.
man, we had somebody say, you bring all the bottles here, they give you a lift 25 cents of 10 cents. They made a day for that.
Well, one good thing about them was that they were really not very expensive. I mean, we could afford them, especially for young kids.
Yeah.
You could use your Kool-Aid money to buy the firecracker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, 4th of July is here and we're celebrating. So we want to welcome everyone. We say thank you for joining us, Manis Sumo and Mapu Hall. We hope that you guys can share the link. Tonight we'll carry the member key and we'll also have what type of country is this. We'll be initiating. We're still looking forward to Blojay coming on the show tonight. We had a good conversation prior to his acceptance to come here. But our conversation tonight is about the divisiveness in the opposition, gentlemen. All the opposition is so divided as it is right now. Everyone selecting their vice running mate. And when you sit in some of the conversation, people who were looking forward to that collaboration that led Darius Dillon into the Senate, that collaboration with all the monies that was spent by the CDC, the Thomas Falan, how they cave in to a Dillon who didn't have money, who didn't spend money, but the sentiments and the resolve of the people to save themselves brought Dillon to the Senate. This is not what we see now at the national level, especially for the presidency. Everyone wants to be a president. Just recently, I saw a lady by the name of Bendu, and she has a guy called Krua, Thomas Krua, as a vice president. So many people joining this campaign for the presidency, a divisive opposition. They think that what it's doing is going to create the epitools or shift the momentum towards Weah, one one president, and had they held together, it could have made him a one-term president. So many things we see going on. So oppositions are or candidates in the opposition bloc are saying that they needed to win. They're not looking at any collaboration at this point. They are going in it to win. So it's not, people don't even have a plan B. All they want to do is win. So that's the conversation we'll be holding here tonight. But I wanted to throw this at you guys. Go to a clip here with President Weah being in Israel. I had an opportunity to listen to Eugene Fagon on the Spoon Network yesterday. For as much as Eugene has been able to speak well, yesterday he called Nathaniel McGill a Robin Hood, and that Samuel Tuer is the most corrupt. And he made a point where McGill is a good man, and when people go to his house, stay there for 2 days, they will leave with the problems resolved. He likened him to the Robin Hood of today, and that it, it was so profound that as I listened, I didn't have the opportunity to call in or to rebut it, but even the other panel panelists, the Councilor of Pakoy, or if that's his name, right? And also Mo Ali. My thought on the problem here is that, or what he said rather, is that how can McGill be a Robin Hood? The story of Robin Hood is taken from the wealthy
Give it to the
and
poor.
given to the poor. But this Robin Hood is taken from the country's coffers,
He's stealing.
denying the country, denying the country of the opportunity the country should expand on, especially when you think about those deals that he has to have a stake in, that they're creating bogus companies to usurp, contracts and run the show and pay themselves well. How can you call him a Robin Hood? And I was in a conversation where people are emphatic that McGill gonna win the senatorial seat in Lima County.
No, in
It
Maggie.
might give you.
I'll give you a minute to say, gentlemen, what do you make of this? Because this is the time for us to talk some of these things. Somebody said, I think I've seen something from my brother Alphonso that has to do with the legislature. The legislature is the problem of Liberia. And if a McGill gets in the House, what is he going to do different in the Senate? What is he going to do different? He's already shown his track record. This is the time for us to talk about the ills in our society and point finger to these criminals who have pillaged our country's resources and deprived us the opportunity for forward movement. Who want to take the lead?
I would take the lead. I would start by saying that what the former deputy minister Eugene Falcon said, the four of us there will agree it was indeed a misrepresentation of the truth. It's very sad to look at someone that it took a foreign country to intervene. That hit you are engaging in acts that stifles the Liberian economy, that puts the country on the path of stagnation. It took a foreign country to get him out of the system. And you have a Fagon. But anyway, that's understandable.
Oh no, I mean it said that
Yeah, it's understandable because Eugene Fagon is a very good friend of the former minister. So it's obvious that he would say stuff like that to please him. But the four of us know that Nathaniel McGill is not, a good character. Had he been one, he would not have been forced to leave government. So that's falsehood right there. That's absolutely falsehood. That's misrepresentation of the fact. Now, coming back to what you were saying regarding whether he's going to win the elections in Magibi and the role of the legislature. Volcano, when I see some of these things, it really bothers me emotionally to see people with stained character. And unfortunately, that's the Liberia that we have. We elevate people who harm us. When you are in the public sector and you try to do the right thing, your own colleagues you work with say, oh, he's stupid. Oh man, the man worked all those years, my man. Can you imagine the man does not even have a bicycle of his own? But if you go and you start to steal, you're robbing the country to enrich yourself, then they say the man is smart. Somebody gets appointed to a position, the first question they ask, whether there's chopping there. What are you talking about? You're going to get a salary, and you're talking about whether there's chopping. So what good is Nathaniel McGill going to do in the Senate, even if he wins? Absolutely nothing. McGill is looking for somewhere that he can use as a shooting ground. That's why he wants to go in the Senate. He's not going to the Senate to do anything meaningful. Nathaniel McGill is one of the guys that undermine the growth and development of Liberia, that laid the foundation for all these crises that we have in the country. Let me stop there and give you guys the opportunity.
Let's hear from Abu, and then
Okay.
we'll come to
You see, guys, one thing about the current politicians, especially the guys in the CDC, they dwell on the gullibility of the uninformed population because they give them information that is never correct. To at one time said that someone was a benevolent dictator. You know, they use those jargons. You know, Magay comes in. I mean, he tries to use this unequal comparison of Robin Hood. You know, trying to let people know because most of the guys who participate in elections today never read about Robin Hood, so they only heard the name, but they never read stories about Robin Hood. Just as Volcano has said, you know, took money from the poor people, I mean, from the rich people and
Rage.
gave it to the poor people. But now McGill is stealing money, depriving the development and growth of the nation and taking it for himself. And later wants to pass it over to people to make him look like he is the good guy among the people. Now, he goes to he started with Bon County. I think there were a few smart people in Bon County. He after he saw that his shadow could not go behind him, his shadow was ahead of him. So he decided to say, "Well, let me go back to Margibi County." He came to Margibi County, and what is he? What has he been doing? Trucking people. Most of the voters for McGill, especially those who will be in Kakata, are people who are from District Number One in Montserrat County in Todi because from I witnessed I watched some of his videos where he was in Turi and say, well, whatever we do in Kakata, we have to flow down onto you people. So you people have to come there to help to make us what we want to be, you know. So look at this. People go into election with tricks. I don't know whether we have a different understanding about democracy, but then it comes in again. We say not so much. We are not looking at the government for the people, by the people for the people. We are only looking at elections, and people are doing everything to manipulate elections. They are starting now. In the end, when we start calling, oh, the election was rigged, no, elections are not rigged on polling day. They are rigged during the process. Nathaniel McGill is not the best fit to go. His interest is to prove to the American government that Liberia doesn't deserve their help. Because if you can even imagine, when he was sanctioned, there were many Liberians, some of our colleagues, who would tell you Liberia, America has no jurisdiction over Liberia. And they were arguing those cases. That George Weah had to go behind closed door. He made no public pronouncement about it, but he went behind closed door to convince them to resign. You know, those were some of his strong people. So you see, the Liberian government will say, oh, we don't have any case against these guys. So we can't have anything against them. But we are waiting for the election commission to clear them. Then we take them to Supreme Court to see what will happen.
Alfonso?
Yeah, I think you all have said it basically. It's sad. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he gave this, and he said this. He said Liberians are basically using the pig mentality. So you take a bunch of pigs and put them in a pig pen, you close it up, so they can't get out, and they can't get out, go get their own food or whatever. And then you get the cassava, you peel the cassava, you boil it, you eat the actual cassava and throw them the cassava peelings, and then they celebrate you as as their savior. So it's the pig mentality that we use in Liberia. Our politicians take the things that belong to the Liberian people for themselves, and then they come and give us pittances. They keep us hungry, first of all. They keep us needy by taking the things that belong to us, so they can come and give us a little bit, and so we can then say, yes, these are the good people that they're keeping us alive. And truly, they're keeping us alive, because if they don't give us those little things, crumbs, we probably will not live. Meanwhile, the major things that they are taking belong to us anyway. And that's the sad situation that is being created in Liberia. People are hungry. They don't have food to eat. They can't pay, to go to the clinics or to the hospitals. So these corrupt politicians who steal the money, who deprive these hospitals and clinics and schools of the resources that they need. Oh my God. I hope I'm not.
No, we got you. Go ahead.
No, you're kind of freezing right now. But
Oh yeah,
I'll
his
come back
was
to you. So I think what he's trying to articulate here is the situation. I think he's back. Go ahead, just
Yeah.
wrap it up quick.
Yeah, sorry. So they provide these resources and then they come back. I mean, as Abu said, it would be a major affront, not just to the American people, to the people of Liberia who Miguel and other people, really stole from, for him to come back and use those very resources he stole from the people to put himself in a position again where he can continue to lord over the people and to steal more and more. And the CDC government, President Weah, have actually failed to investigate these three government officials and to prosecute them and hold them accountable. The U.S. government didn't make up the allegation against them. Before the U.S. government said something, it was all in the media. We all knew what they were doing. We knew they established that company in Grand Bassa. We knew McGill was taking money from people and giving them jobs in the Weah administration. We knew all of that. So it's not like, the U.S. government created these things. But the government, being so very corrupt as it is, has refused point blank to investigate this. They are using McGill and McGibby to, spend money in McGibby, not only for McGill to get elected, but to also, so that people who are voting for McGill will also vote for CDC, so George Weah can get benefited. That's why they threw McGill over there. So it's a whole plan. It's a whole scam.
Let me
and
just add this, Moses. We got to move on quick.
yeah, no, quickly, I just wanted to provide this information because you guys were wondering if the elections commission will even allow Mr. McGill to register. I want to report to you that the elections commission has formally
Mm-hmm.
certificated Mr. McGill as a registered candidate. Bill 12 has also been certificated as a registered candidate. So you see what we're talking about?
So this
People
is what I want
on.
to add. This is
Yeah,
what
go
I
ahead.
want to add.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Let me
Thanks
just
for
stop there.
thanks for that information. But this is what I want to add.
Yeah.
The man was in the executive branch and so corrupt.
Mhm.
He goes in the Senate or the legislature
Yeah.
where he will propagate law in his
Mhm.
interest. What difference will it make? You've already seen the man so corrupt in the executive branch. Will you be voting this man to represent you in the legislature to make laws that will be able to take you out of degradation or the poverty to put your country forward? No. Matter of fact, I can tell you they will remove that harmonization. I can feel it. I can see it. I can smell it. Weah did this as of his side to come to power and say he was in the interest of the people. And of course, it made people more poor than richer. And they got richer. I can see them going back to the days of the 15 grand. Those guys will push for the 20 grand, in fact, if Weah became president for the next 6 years. But I just wanted to add that if the man was in the executive branch, he didn't do well. He showed his corruption. The corrupt legislature, rather, that we have, both houses.
Oh yeah.
What difference will McGill make?
Nothing.
What difference will he do? What difference will Bill 12 do? None. So we're creating a conundrum. We're creating a problem, an extended problem that would put us in another 6 years of complete backwardness, because those guys will not propagate legislation that will push our country forward. It will be in the interest of corruption. They will pass concession deals with the check and the envelope on the table. They will sell our resources for cheap to these companies that will pay them upfront, and they will pass those deals. They will pass deals for the president. They will confirm people who are unqualified only because they're loyal to the president. And that's the kind of condition that we'll find ourselves if Mr. Weah is given a second term.
Absolutely.
That's the
And
danger.
that is, yeah, you're right. And that is the case today. I mean, they just passed a $65 million
$5
million
million
loan.
Yeah.
loan.
So we're coming to play the clip. The man is in Israel. He
Yep.
getting prayer
Yep.
because you
So-
know how he can say that money that I went for it.
So
They-
so
they
so
don't-
so the first time Prince Johnson took him to Nigeria
Now
for
he went to
prayers.
Israel. Yeah, for
Now he
prayer.
has gone to Israel for another prayer.
So let's go to that clip.
That contains yearning for the Jewish people and all people of the world. Hear the Mahalot of Sinai that begin behind you. This song says, I lift up my eyes to the mountains from where my help will come. My help comes from the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. The Lord will not let your foot be moved. One who watches you will not slumber. Behold, neither sleeps nor slumbers regarding your business. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade upon your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil, shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your departure and your arrival from this time. Amen. We would like to take a moment for some private prayer.
Can you imagine, man? Wow, that offering to make it. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Gentlemen, look at BBC on there say they're standing in the holding wall.
The Holy Land.
Go far.
But
Every
my
snow. What
my
kind of
point
trouble
is,
is this, my man?
I know, my brother. That's the point I was going to make, and not so much even
Help
that.
make your point, man. Help make your point.
Yeah,
Because that is kind of thing that tell me say God is so patient.
Yeah, God is a patient God.
God is so patient. For real?
first of
I
all,
myself about going
yeah.
one day, my man, I'll be scared to even touch that wall. I will start praying from Liberia. I will be baptized 3 times before I even go touch that wall. You're not gonna make me touch the wall, you know, for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
The
you
Holy Land, my man.
imagine? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Go ahead, Alfonso.
Now I was going to ask. I mean, my concern is, sinners can go and pray to God anytime. So that's not even my biggest point. My point is, what is the trip for? What's that trip about? Is it an official trip? It's a personal trip. Why all those people on the trip? Who paid for them to go? Why all
Went
those?
to 5 pastors.
Yes, I mean,
25 pastor charter flight.
all those people on the trip, where's the money coming? These people are taking the Liberian people for granted. These boys can just sit down one day and say we're flying to Israel and take thousands of dollars of the Liberian people money and just go over there to have fun. Really? Take money from the mouths of people so that poor people in the country are not eating no food, no medicines, and they make a trip to Israel to touch holy wall.
But that's just the only war. The $65 million from what we gather is
The
that
Yeah.
company. Yeah.
that's the money he going to go sign for because they needed a big fish to sign for the money.
But
So
Volcano,
why
that
couldn't
is
you
the
go
problem.
with a small group? You had to
Yeah.
carry the whole work.
Thank you. But that's also the problem, though. How can a country sign for a $65 million loan and the president has to fly to the other country to go sign for it? How does
Because
that even?
the loan is not coming from the Israeli government.
Yeah,
This is a private bank.
I totally agree. But this is a government arrangement. So anybody, the lower level president of the government could have signed for the loan, not the president flying with 50 people to go sign for 65. By the time you come back, you've already exhausted maybe 5 million of that $65 million loan, giving all the money they're spending to charter a flight, giving all the people who have to stay in hotels and eat and get per dimes and all of that. First of all, what is $65 million for a whole country to even go take for, and what are the terms of that? Yeah, so it's crazy. But I'll stop there and let the other people.
I would just want to come in a little. What are the Liberian people looking for in George Weah? What are the qualities does he has? Because if I imagine he's now there in Israel touching a wall, people praying for him, he putting his thing on his head. This is a same guy. A few years back, he became a Muslim. He said he was a Muslim, calling himself Usman. Then he comes to Liberia with all the allegations against him. He becomes a pastor. Later, they try to turn him into saying he's an apostle and all of these things. Then we all say we believe in God. This man is playing with his own emotions, even though we know he will carry his own grave. Liberian people have to open their eyes and see what is happening. And these are just the one he goes to open it. He was with TB Joshua. He was with this guy. Everywhere he is doing, just to remain president of this country. You know. And I can't even imagine what are those ones that doing, those ones that he goes to at night. You know. The ones that he goes to at night. They are there. You know, and we still look at it and we expect Liberia to be going straight. You know, I think you can only save yourself. But to say you're going through those kind of people, it's going to be a difficult thing. I still want to say George Weah is going to lose bad. And as you brought a topic about, especially the division among,
We'll come to it. We'll come to it.
you know,
We'll come to it. Just hold your peace. Was there anything?
Yeah, quickly, I just want to say that from what I see, Volcano, it's like you went to school for the entire year. You never took up time to study. You did not do any of your homework. Graduation is next week. Then your mommy said, let's go see the pastor. You know, and the pastor tell you, so, oh, you need 7 days of, fast and prayer. You need to do this. You need to do that. That's what George Weah is doing right now.
Holy bath.
Yeah, the holy bath and all of that. Mr. Weah, where are the auditors? The 6 auditors. Where are the other unaccounted for murders in Liberia? Where's Gloria Mustuska today? Mr. Weah, what is the state of the Liberian economy, the educational system, the healthcare sector, the road network, the rule of law, everything in shambles? And you go to Israel to pray for God to do what? To reverse the situation? This is a losing battle. Like Mr. Abu said, this guy's going to lose big time. No amount of prayer.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I'm a believer. But when you do stuff deliberately and you think God is going to reverse it to pay you in a positive way, I think that's a losing battle. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next clip here. Samuel Tuwe again. Apparently, he was graded from his appearance at ELBC, where he screwed up and blundered and lied. I call him the polished liar. You know how when you polish, and he came back again. We got something here from Freedom FM, but then we also got something here through the Lena Panorama.
Yeah,
so he was thrown out here again. So apparently, what he said in his intro was, this time around, I'm going to speak in simple English so that ordinary Liberians can hear it. They can understand it. So the other time you were talking,
it was beyond that level.
Yeah. That was big book he was speaking, so nobody could understand when he said 27 million people, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's go to Mr. Tuwe and hear what he got to say.
The economy is strong.
He said the economy is strong
relative to the weak position of the Liberian that the government inherited. Strong in terms of what we call macro stability. So, these are big things for people to understand, but we'll try to break it down so that to know that the rate of inflation is low, because when inflation is low, then it means people's income are protected. So we work to bring inflation down. The way you know that is to compare our inflation with Sierra Leone, for example. Inflation is 47% in Sierra Leone. I mean, 43%. 43%. You go on the internet, you see any World Bank latest report. I mean, current inflation. Inflation in Ghana, for example, is probably in the 40s. Liberia is the only English-speaking West African country that is close to the French-speaking inflation rate. The lowest inflation in Liberia, West Africa, is happening in Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal. Those people, the CFA Yeah, the currency is the CFA pegged to the French economy. So the inflation is the lowest. So when you look at Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, inflation is single digit. The other countries' inflation are not single digit. So you have to, Liberian people have to tell the president, thank you for sustaining that one. The exchange rate, and I know we're talking about exchange rate, Liberia has had one of the most stable exchange rates. There's been some recent pressure on the exchange rate, but you're looking at the pressure today, but you also have to look at what has happened. So to judge the man, where he took it from, where he stabilized it. And as you go to the election, what we're looking at is that there are some uncertainties, even as in 2017, we saw some of those uncertainties as well, meaning, all kinds of things can happen. And so we'll talk about some of that. So it put pressure, but we're working very hard to again bring it back down to normal. The president changed the whole fiscal management regime of the country. The country used to be spending money that the country never used to have. President Weah said no. If you get a house and you're making $300, try to live on $300.
Okay.
Don't make $300 and be living on $1,000. How we used to do it. So he said no. First of all, don't borrow from the central bank. If the revenue in the government account is not there to pay salary, don't go to the central bank for it. How we used to do it. He said you manage it such that you pay the people without borrowing from the central bank. We're one of the few countries in the world that do that. Does not borrow from the central bank.
And this is insulting. This is going to make me to use a vulgarity here tonight. When this man sits here and say you can't borrow when you took the roll phone to pay salaries. I mean, gentlemen, this guy is just one of the people who is so irresponsible with the way he comes forth. He claims here that we are created the best financial management system by saying that if we don't have it, we don't do it. When this man flying private jet all over the world, when this man taking $92,000 for 40 whatever days to go watch the World Cup,
49 days, yeah.
When this man pocketing monies in his pocket and this guy is getting filthy rich this time to it, and he sits here and talk this nonsense. At some point, people.
It can be frustrating. Yeah.
Get mad.
Yeah.
Who is this guy talking to? Somebody who didn't go to school? Somebody who don't even know the front from the back? Somebody, Abu, man, come on now.
The group that is listening to him in there, that's the group he's talking to. Every time he comes on, he behaves as if he's a big economic teacher or he is a microecon teacher. Look at the kind of word he's using, micro stability. There is no economic word we call micro. There's no economic term called micro stability. He uses those terms like how he also said benevolent dictator. He uses words and uses his hands and be swinging around like a magician. Volcano, have you seen a magician before?
Yeah, he just that's why he's doing.
I love it, Abu. You're doing a great job tonight.
They use their hands to conjure. The magician uses it to conjure the people. That's what he does. And uses those terms that they do not understand. He said in the beginning he wants to speak in a common language. Which common person will understand why he's calling
go to the common language and talk this kind of crap, Yeah.
And George, you are the only one who says he said people used to live in living what
they were spending what they never had.
You spend $1,000 when you're making only $300. It is now that is happening.
That's what it is.
Now that it's happening. We saw people like Akara's Greed in one bedroom, sharing one bed with people until they were in the house. Today, you see them big houses they're building.
I just wanted to
living more than what they are worth.
I just wanted to frown him small. Let him continue. Let him keep lying.
Alphonso, I just wanted to add our point to that. But let's go ahead.
Yeah, let him small for your
coming. In West Africa right now, Nigeria is macroeconomically stable relative to the other countries.
Macroeconomically stable relative to the other countries. You for real? This guy for real? No, man, y'all go ahead, man. I will walk out of this studio tonight.
Please, Volcano, don't walk out. But all I can say For every
No,
time Samuel Tuer appears and made this public pronouncement, that just become a very good public relations for the opposition. Any intelligent person.
and I like what you said because we're gonna come and I'm gonna box this opposition tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah.
They're not
For every
they're not
time,
going
yeah. Minister Tuer is doing more harm for the Weah administration than good. Because anybody who is intelligent, when you sit and listen to Samuel Tuer, you say, man, I just need to walk away because he doesn't know what he's talking about. The man said they took over a weak economy. Today, according to him, the economy is stable. But they have gone for 5 months.
and the rate, let me quickly
Yeah,
say
go
the
ahead.
rate today is 200.
Yes.
200. The rate is 200 today.
Yeah. So they have gone for 5 months. Government employees in foreign service have not been paid. Some are even at the verge of being evicted. Yes, Tuer calls that a stable economy. They took over an economy that was paying salary consistently. They were providing for the hospitals. Selig administration provided $250,000 on an annual basis to hospitals in rural Liberia.
Let me
So
add,
we
you
are
said
getting-
salary, you said they were paying salary consistently.
Yes, consistently.
Unharmonized salary.
Yes,
Unharmonized. You harmonize
unharmonized.
salary, you
Yeah.
harmonize salary and you still get paid.
You can pay,
reduce
and then
people to the lowest ebb and you still get
Mhm.
paid. I don't
you
want to
can
argue.
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the average pay in Selig administration for a civil servant
Yo,
was
150.
$150. What did it do? Go to the Ministry of Information. $45 a month. $45 a month to a cause that what? A stable economy. How do you take over what you call a weak economy and yours today is the quote unquote most viable economy? But you can't meet these basic needs. Hospitals, educational system, everything in crisis. How do you, Alphonso, tell me, how do you call that?
It's sad, and I'm so upset. I mean, I'm really upset about the two things. One, that these guys actually took the Liberian people money and went to Israel to have fun and to celebrate.
Mhm.
That really, really is annoying me. And then second, this man is sitting out over there and just lying to the people and taking advantage of the ignorance of the people. Moses, when they use these big words to those children who don't understand, then they say Baku is strong. Baku no go.
Jose.
Yes.
Jose.
So they throw these. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intellectual stimulation. Who say?
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, this is this.
It's sad. So they take advantage of the ignorance of those boys in the street and use these big words that the children don't understand and portray themselves as educated people when in fact they know nothing of what they're talking about. Mr. Tuer talking about inflation. Can he compare the Nigerian economy, the Ghanaian economy with the Liberian economy? I mean, is he kidding? Who is he kidding? He's talking about macroeconomic nonsense that he knows nothing about. What is the standard of living of the people in Liberia? How many people can even afford a bag of rice in Liberia? You're not even paying the people. You're talking about inflation and prices. It's not like I'm so upset. I'm so upset, especially that.
Let me make you upset
Yeah.
more. Let hear the man again.
Yeah.
Let get upset more.
Wow.
But you have to stand on that macroeconomy now.
There you go.
Do big things. We're talking about all these other things as we go along. So the economy is strong. Growth today, last in 2021, we grew at nearly 5%. There was some conversation on OKF in this morning about somebody called per capita GDP, right? Comparing, when the election and people take Sierra Leone to confuse the people. They say Sierra Leone doing better than Liberia on per capita GDP. So what I want me is that the simple way to look at GDP is to say, let's say that 100 person went work, 100 men produce something. Maybe they make farm. The 100 men are Liberia. They make a farm, they produce 100 bagare, like GDP. So 100 bagare, we call it GDP. The 100 men, we call it population. So it means technically one man working to produce one bagare, right? So I had to come and understand it. So yeah, in Sierra Leone, a 400 men, let's say that 300 men on the farm, they produce 150 bagare. Who working?
What do you think?
Yeah, so I given the Liberian people now, 100 men producing 100 bagare, 300 men will produce 150 bagare. I mean, the people, the 100 men working harder, so the economy better. The other people are more, but they're still producing less. So now, why when you say per capita GDP, when you divide the bagare by the population, in case the GDP by the population, Liberia will be higher. So as an indicator, you know that something good is happening here. So the goal is that when the economy look at per capita, they want it to continue to go up. So because the population, it can grow smaller. So it takes Liberia, in 1960, we were 1 million people. You see, since 1960, that 60 years ago, we are just 5 million. So population will grow, but the economy can grow bigger. So you want the economy growth rate to be bigger than the population, then the per capita GDP. So we should move from around 600, 700 to around 1,000 to around 1,500 when we expand the economy. Some of the things we're talking about here to continue to improve the living standard in the country. So all in all, Liberians looking at where the president took the country from a simple economy to now stable and standing on a strong foundation to solve infrastructure problems in the road. We'll talk about all of those. They have to give the man a second chance.
Oh,
Yeah.
See the man example he gave? The people planting rest.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Abu.
You see, what I want to say here is, Tue is a distraction.
Definitely.
He comes out with these kind of talks every time he sees that too much attention is being paid to criticizing George Weah. Then he comes in to talk about what they are normally calling the bread and butter issue of the Liberian people, which is the economy. So he distracts people. That's when the last time he went, I don't know whether he meant 27,000 when he was saying 27 million when we don't even have 5 million people in Liberia, you know. But he is just a distraction, and he finds it very easy going to the Liberian people and the people who say Baku is strong, Baku is strong. And this not going to go with the Liberian people all the time. He sits down there, tries to act like he's living a modest life in Liberia. Got a very big home in Ivory Coast. Who knows how many other homes he has already built somewhere to other places? Who knows how much money he has sent to his girlfriend and relatives in America to buy houses? You know. So when these guys talk to the people and make them believe that other people are not doing anything, they are the one who are doing it, which has gone into the ears of the Liberian people, the gullible, ignorant people who will say, I'm sorry for the language calling Liberians ignorant, but it makes them to believe, what have you done for Liberia? Don't ask me what I've done for Liberia. You are the one that people have empowered that will pay our taxes and give it to you so that you can use it in our interest. So how do you expect me to be doing something? I work for my little father per hour job. Then I take my money to go give it. I go to build my house. And you are not even looking into how many houses are being built by people in the diaspora to make your country look better. When you go put cement on one half mile road, then you tell us you have spent $200,000 or $1 million for that. Samuel Toy is a distraction. Well, let the discussion go on. Maybe we'll talk some more.
yeah.
And, you know, I just wanted to say this 30 seconds. The condemnation of all of the leaders who have done what they have done in Liberia. And in 5.5 years, these guys sit here and equate President Weah's leadership to more than 20 presidents prior and say he's the best president. He's done more for the country since 1847. The deadest slap that we are wanted to give to Costa. If I was near number two, I would give him that deadest slap. Because if no, seriously, I'm being humorous here, but that's
Yeah, I know.
that's an insult. That's an insult to the founding fathers of our country, irrespective of how much they didn't do and they could have done. But yet, when you add it all up, we have 5.5 years. Can I equate to anything close to that?
No.
Nothing close to that. That's what I wanted to add. Go ahead, Mr. Onyenu.
Yeah. So again, this guy is just lying and raising my blood pressure. First of all, when they talk about Liberia GDP, they're not talking about Liberia GDP in comparison with other countries. Like they're not taking two GDP and comparing them and then say, oh, there's a GDP. They're looking at the GDP per capita of a country is the productive capacity of citizens, each individual citizen of the country, and it's pegged to productivity. Are they working? Are they employed? Are they producing stuff? That's how you generate GDP per capita. So population here doesn't really matter because you're not of one country and the other, because you're not comparing both countries.
No.
You're looking at the GDP, the productive capacity of the citizens in a specific country. And the productive capacity of citizens in Liberia is lower than the productive capacity of citizens of Sierra Leone. It has nothing to do with Sierra Leone's population or Liberia's population. What it has to do with is that Liberians do not have jobs. Liberians are not engaged in production, economic activity, as much as they should be. That is why our capacity is low. We're not producing at our capacity as he's claiming. So first of all, that's a lie, a terrible lie. But unfortunately, there's nobody over there to question him and do something. Then there's a simple term. If I were there, I would ask him, Minister Chua, can you talk to something they call growth without development? Because one thing to have a huge GDP or we're generating whatever,
Yeah.
but there's no development. And it's an economic term and phrase called economic growth without development. It means you're generating the revenue as they claim they are, you generate resources as they claim they are, but and not reaching the people.
They're pocketing it.
Yes, and not improving any life. It's not raising any standard of living of the people. It's not going into healthcare. It's not going to education. It's not going to roads. People don't have food to eat. And you're boasting about we took the economy here and it grew by 5% or this, that, blah, blah, blah. What's the impact? Where is development? So in economic terms, growth development is how you improve, because development is about improving the lives of people, the livelihood of people. And not necessarily when you build infrastructure, what do you build infrastructure? You build infrastructure to improve the lives of people. So the whole thing is about improving people's lives. But the people who work for government not even getting paid. The people who work in the hospitals don't get paid. There's no medicine in the hospital. The schools are not running. Roads are horrible. No safe drinking water. And you're boasting about economic growth? What does that even mean in real and economic terms? So these guys pass around, just use these words, empty words, and pass around. And the children don't even care. They just run behind them because at the end of the day, they will get that 20 to me tonight. This is just weather.
It's understandable. Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
Man,
What's going on here, man?
When you leave from Liberia, when you come out to the States, you are.
I don't know, man. I'm sorry, guys. There's something.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Yeah. So
wrap it up.
Yeah. No, I'm really wrapping up. Again, these guys, as I would say, is distraction, is deflection. They come and say these things so we can look at the real issues. So we'll focus on responding to them and not focus on the real issues and the real. If you're making so much money, the economy is so great, why are you borrowing $65 million? What is $65 million for our country? Are you borrowing $65 million?
Oh man, like elections money.
Yeah. And you say, put it on the country, and you say the economy is doing great, and you borrow $65 million that one company can earn in 2 hours time. Are you
So
crazy? Yeah. So that's it, man. Yeah. Anyway, that's
yeah,
where we are. Sometimes some of the guys get you to the point that you say you just want to do something that you're not supposed to do or say. But yeah,
yeah.
that's where we are.
So like all of you have said, this is not a comparison of Liberia to Sierra Leone. The comparison, like he himself started, is the comparison is with two administration. He said they have a stable economy. When Mr. Salih was president, she never flew charter flights. The law was the president flew what? First class.
First
Mm.
class.
Cabinet ministers,
Economic
economy
class.
class. It was the president and the foreign minister that flew first class. George Weah, what does he do? He charter flights.
Mhm.
Today he's in Israel with church leaders that got nothing to do with what? The white of the country.
But
And
you
you have
saw
a
man
finance
Colasco
minister.
again?
Oh, no,
You saw Colasco? You see
Colasco over there.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't see- oh yeah,
Yeah.
but my man, the man
Hey,
is
man, I
a
don't let me
private
finish.
photographer. He's
You know,
he's a photographer and a
Colasco,
videographer for the president.
Colasco, the foreign minister,
Mm-hmm.
Fonati Kofa, and Edwin Snow. Those are the four people I made up, including the president.
Okay,
The
so
drummer fella was there. I
eh,
saw something of him.
yes, and this goes right back to Samuel 12, who said that we have a stable economy. Let him tell us the significant role that Colasco and all those people are playing on our trip, right?
But Kalasco
The
and
very
others have the
Samuel 12,
economic. They
12
have the
told,
economic.
yeah, Minister 12 told the word that Mr. Weah said to them, please do not use what you don't have. Operate within your budget, which makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, we all on this podcast can remember the international community literally took to the airway to embarrass the administration for what? Going into its accounts. Where was Samuel Tue? Was he not Minister of Finance when they were taking the people money? Did that happen with the Salif administration? When Mr. Weah King on shady condition and you put out all the condominiums, where did they take the money from? Is he telling us that George Weah had money stuck up somewhere before he became president? The 9th Street residence today, how was that built? Was it his personal money? Man, look, let
All right,
me
gentlemen,
pause there.
let's
me
go to
pause
the
there. Yeah,
intermission right now. Quickly, we'd like to
yeah, let
remind
me
folks
pause there.
we're in the issues room. This is our 166th edition. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. Our production is on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Volcano Shelton here with you at Anchor, Moses Sandy in Delaware, Alphonso Yeno in the northeast part of Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, Mr. Samuel in Upper Darby. We're here tonight discussing the opposition, divided opposition. What does it mean for President Bia's re-elections? We're also chiming on what his finance minister continued to propagate falsehood regarding the Liberian economy and the livelihood of the people. We also talked about uh, Eugene Falcon, former Deputy Information Minister, referencing Nathaniel McGill as a Robin Hood in today's Liberia. Listen, we're going to carry what type of country is this at some point, and we're also going to be looking at memory lane. But in the meantime, we want you to encourage others to join us here. There's a guy by the name of Raleigh Siaple. He says the issues room needs to increase its viewership. You guys are too sound to have this level of viewership. Now, my brother, I don't know what you mean when you say increase viewership. You said also we need to spend some money. Is it the fake numbers you guys give to Spoon, the fake number you give to other platform? that you want us to have. We believe in substance, and we think that for what we have now is what God has positioned us to have. And the people who want to understand and be enlightened, they'll join us. So we're not trying to do anything superficial. What we want is genuine. So if you care to, you can inbox the issues room and let us know how we can expand our viewership. If you're going to be our PRO man, going from people to people and telling them, but if you're expecting us to give you money to put fake number or make it look like we have 10,000 views like others, then I'm not sure if we want to do that. I'll be straightly honest with you. But again, Charles Crawford, welcome to the show from Livingston. Good to see you, my brother. Elizabeth Bowen, we say thank you for joining us here tonight. Dorothy Service, good to see you. I've been here before, but it looks like your first time. Adiaha Intanjizit Umo, all the way from Australia. Thank you for joining us on our holiday here, Mount Moyu, Moses Sumoketo, Boniface Emmanuel Hayes. Good to see you, Cole Gloria Fukamoba, Manin Sumo, and the rest of you guys. I know it's 4th of July, a lot of folks trying to do their own thing, but you can always catch the replay of the show, so it doesn't matter at this time. Gentlemen, all right, we've seen what Moses said. Thomas, not Thomas, but I can't even remember the guy name. I wanted to get it. Samuel Tour. Moses said, continue to make the case why we shouldn't be a second-term president. When you look around today in this country, we will be heading to elections next year. I can't believe it came by so quick. We only know there are two political parties in this country that really go to elections. The opposition today now is the Republican. And the only thing they want is to get body out of power. Right? Nothing more, nothing less. And they'll do anything to get body out of power through the democratic means, right?
Yeah.
In Liberia, we have an opposition force that wants to get President Weah out of power. Here are some of the burning issues these people have propagated in the little flare that they put out there. Corruption. Oh, we want to fight corruption. We got our man Gonglo going with broom. He already brought Emmanuel Yakpa Wolo, and he gave him a broom too. So the two of them now got brooms. So that room they're supposed to sweep. Instead of broom, Gonglo sweeping that room by himself, he got a man helping to sweep.
Yeah,
so
we got broom one, broom two.
Yeah, so that means we'll sweep that room faster than Gonglo will do. Then we got a rescue team. We got a rescue team that wants to rescue the country from all the things that are happening in the country. The things of corruption, the things of rule of law, the things of mental health, because even Boyka addressed the mental health issue. Yes. So all the things he's talking about. Then we got Clarence Moneybar. He came, he articulated all of these things. So it's like everybody reverberating on the same issue, but yet they are divided. Alexander Cummings, you can't do the same thing and expect different results, continuously doing the same thing. They're asking whether he will put his hat behind opposition. He said, no, I know yet, but I need to win. So, gentlemen, let's be frank here tonight. And I'm saying this because we got to hit the opposition hard. They're playing with the Liberian people. Everybody cannot win the presidency. Everybody cannot win the presidency. You may have your candidate in Boyka, you may have your candidate in Cummings, you may have your candidate in Gonglo, you may have your candidate in whoever. But one person has to emerge. And if this opposition, gentlemen, want to get Weah out and they remain divided, even into the second round, do we see the position of Charles Bromsky? I'm not telling you who to go for, but make your decision. How are we going to change the trajectory of our country? How are we going to move forward if we all say that we are? When I say we, meaning the opposition, please, this platform is not political. But if all of the members in the opposition bloc are saying that we are is the problem, how can it be so divided when they're articulating the same agenda, the same policy matters, the same things of change that they want to do? How are they going to win this presidency being divided? Let's start this conversation.
Can I come in?
But man, you are our guest.
The greatest thing of it is what they are doing now is attacking one another, which is like giving George Weah an upper hand. One group comes in and tell the other people, "Oh, your policies will not cater to the downtrodden." I don't know where they came from with that jargon, downtrodden people, you know. And when you start criticizing the people that they are not going to cater to the downtrodden people, that is George Weah's weapon that he continued to use because he calls himself pro-poor. You know, I don't know
From
whether
Gibraltar.
whether they use the pro-poor either to be I'm in favor of the poor people, because if you are pro something, that means
Then
you are
you're
in favor of
yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
a pro-poor, you know. So how are we? They can really do something. Like somebody try to come out instead of trying to concentrate on how they can start to mend their own fences at this time. Someone comes out. The best thing the opposition can do now is to make sure that they collaborate in the, I would call the thing, in these people
The
who are
second
going to
round.
the voter monitors.
Oh, okay.
You know, that will
Yeah.
that they collaborate so that they will all be monitoring the polls so that George Weah cannot steal his polls. You know,
Yeah.
but that is late hour.
Mhm.
You know, when you could start collaborating and start talking about it now, because just as Volcano has said, there is no new thing in their manifestos at this time. All their
Abu,
manifestos are the same thing.
that's the thing that hurting me. It's like all
Like
of us here,
like
we got
when
same agenda.
when
So
I
who's
listen
going to be the president, huh?
when I listen to Mr. Cummings, you can't do the same thing over and over and expect the same result and expect a different
Different
result.
result. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. But in case in this taste of Liberia, you are not doing the same thing, but you are using the same tools. So in the end, the result will be the
You
same
get a same
because you
result.
see the tools are not different. He took 5 years. He took 5 years to look for a president. You want to tell me, Volcano, you know how long it took? You have been knowing Moses for a very long time. You collaborated with him. I mean, Moses, we got to start this show together. You got Moses' commitment. You know who he is. You have taken your time. You have gotten to know about Moses. So when you people finally decided to join Mobo, it's becoming successful. And it's successful today.
Yeah.
But the guy stayed. He came into Liberia. He joined the Liberian politics and discussions in 2007.
Stop there. And we added Alfonso Yeno because Alfonso
Yes.
sees things from the perspective of of where the issues room stands.
Yeah.
Again, we're not politically driven. We're just talking what the facts are.
Yes.
If Weah is doing extremely well, Alfonso not going to change the conversation. He's not going to lie. If Samuel Tua is the best finance minister, we got to say it. The records will be there. So someday maybe you may say, okay, you know what? I read the junior too, then we fall down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're all propagating the same message. That's the point I'm making. So we can come together. We will disagree, but let's come with a formidable force. Then to go splinterized and think that we can win President Weah if everybody has the same agenda items that I mentioned here. That's the painful part. And this is why the Liberian people are so confused. Because 1 minute they felt good about that coalition. 1 minute they felt like, listen, Darius Dillon, who didn't spend money, here's the guy, beat those people flat. They were even calling Thomas Father walking ATM. Those balls kept the US, they Liberian new money and they were sharing it. And yet this ball won them hands down. There was no way they could cheat. They tried all, but there was no way because it was just overwhelming. The people continue to say, had this opposition bloc held in a coalition, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would not have even registered to say he want to run for a second term. He will say, my man, my hat up and I'm gone. Gentlemen, this is the painful part, and that is why the Liberian people might vote President Weah for a second term if these guys go like this. Y'all got to make the case tonight. I'm not going to play with the opposition.
The breakdown of
ahead.
the coalition, it's like how the Liberian man says everybody wants to ally the no more than the other people. Why would they not understand themselves when the population started looking at them as the most or as the rational group? because everybody had their own say. This person go first, this person go second. The collaboration started working. But at what point did they break down? Lack of trust. This person got money, this person doesn't have money. You know, it's like how when people were trying to form the African Union, you know, what broke it down? The presidents came together. They did understand one another. But then when they came, they didn't look at it like how they had the American Federation. Some countries say, oh, I have all the diamond. These other people got no diamond. They got no resources. So if I can't join them, then I will be sharing my resources. You know, Congo and others were saying this. And that's how the African Union, the African country just broke down. They couldn't get the African Union because everybody thought they had something. Because if you look at how America runs today, there are some states that you can really find nothing much there, but they have their strength in something. Sometimes they decide to put the best universities there. Sometimes they say, okay, yeah, I die. They say, okay, you just there, you go for plenty potatoes. Just plenty
Potatoes.
you know, just
Potatoes.
potatoes. Other place to tell you,
Arkansas,
yeah.
it's our race.
Yes,
Arkansas,
and you become relevant to the federation, no matter what it is, you know. But we didn't look at it like that. So now we are there today in the collaboration started. It broke down. Oh, this person got money, the other person got money. Everybody going to depend on this person's money, and then this person, you know. So this
or the person who got the money too, he's the big dog. He needs to be in the front. The other man who said he got 40 years, he said, I got to be in the front. The man who got the money said, no way. But man, let you have my fast so quick, then we'll go to.
So I would like Moses go because I have a different view. I have a different view, and I'm not understanding with you.
But why didn't Moses got the same view of us?
I think Moses got the same view. So let him go.
Definitely, Alphonso is right. I share the same view with you guys. I share the view that there's a need for unity, and understand that yourself, Volcano. When I see these people literally bashing one another on social media, it bothers me because basically what they are doing, they are giving Mr. Weah and his people
a free
opportunity,
pass.
A free
pass. Free pass.
They're giving this guy because look, I don't want to use this word, but if you were to do an opinion poll today, at home and abroad, I would say 80 to 90% of the people will say George Weah must go. But now you have an opposition that's supposed to unite, right? To ensure that this happens. When you listen to the guys from the ANC, Joseph Boakai has what they call a pacemaker. That's the messages they propagate. He has a pacemaker. He will soon die. Oh, Alexander Cumming, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Cumming is a gay. Where's the one Gonglo? Oh, he did nothing. He's this. And they call one another all these terrible names. I was listening to one of the guys last night. I was wondering, I said, but even if the old man has a pacemaker, what has that got to do with his desire of wanting to be president?
I beg you,
yeah, go ahead.
I want to tell I'm a beating dumber.
Yeah, oh yeah. You know, oh my man, and they're beating dumber. So what has that got to do with his desire of wanting to be president? So they are literally putting one another down.
Bashing each other, each other.
The crab mentality. If it is not me, it is not good. I mean, I'm afraid. We have a little over 3 months. It's 3 months? Today is what? The 4th. 3 months?
Yeah,
6 days.
Months.
3 months, 6 days, we'll be having election in Liberia.
Let me quickly reiterate. Hold on. The issues room going to be covering the elections in Liberia. I remain absolute on it. The issues room will be in Liberia. Will be covering the national elections and will be from a broad and balanced perspective. Will be covering the national elections.
So to wrap it quickly, where all this noise are going, and somebody will say, well, look, our destined to be president at all costs. But sometimes it's good to do rational thinking when you go into a competition. Do you have the capability of putting the votes? If you are struggling to even assemble 200 persons when you call a town hall, this thing is we're not talking about high school election. This is the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. Then it is better to begin to hold discussion with individuals that will help you get to the top. If you don't have the money and you have others who have the money, what do? You collaborate with them because we have a common interest. We want a change in Liberia. Anything other than unity, Volcano, a re-election of George Weah will be a curse on Liberia. You can quote me on that. And let me reiterate that. The re-election of George Weah will be a curse on Liberia. Because this man has failed in every sector. Everywhere you turn, it's a failure, it's a failure, it's a failure, it's a failure, it's a failure. And you gave him another 6 years? And you got these opposition people, they're fighting, they're cursing at one another. They're talking about second term. Now, if Volcano and I were on the show, I'm calling him all the terrible names, and Volcano goes to second term and says, oh, Moses, I need your support. Do you think I will give Volcano my support? I said, but Volcano, you and I don't get along. Mr. Abu will not support you. Alphonso will not support you. So it is the time that for us to come together and put Liberia first. They're going to be one president at a given time. The opposition, unless they unite, that's my advice. Unless the opposition unite, Mr. Weah stands the chance of what? Winning re-election. And when that happens, the future of Liberia is doomed.
That's where I have.
Hold on, Alphonso.
Yeah,
Do you think it is the leaders? You don't think it is the opposition leaders or the supporters who are causing this problem?
But look, quickly, let me just say this: this is where leadership come in. The supporters and all the other surrogates, they are answerable to people who are in charge. If I'm at the Zana comments and I see my communication people tearing down Omen Joseph Boaka, oh, he will die next week. He has a pacemaker. I need to call that director of communication and say, look, this is unacceptable. This is not campaigning. We need one another. You can't do that. Speak to the issue. I personally have inboxed some of these guys. I have called them on the phone. I say, speak to the issues. Speak to the issue. Nobody wants to know whether Mr. Comey is gay or not. That's not an issue. Nobody wants to know whether Ome Bwaka will die tomorrow or not. Because no one can predict another person's death. You're predicting a man death today, you go to bed tomorrow, and we all start crying that you die. And so don't be predicting somebody's death, Focus on the message.
Issues.
Messaging is critical. The issues. That's what we want. Yeah.
That's
So
what we
yes,
need.
Delon is a criminal. Delon is corrupt. Oh, young bleed. You corrupt. Yeah. Come on, man.
Here's my concern with this argument that the opposition needs to come together or else Josh Weah will win.
Yeah, that's for the Google man.
I have a problem with that argument on several fronts.
Okay.
First of all, that argument assumes that Josh Weah and the CDC have so much support that the only way to compete with them and to beat them is for everybody to come together.
But Alphonso,
that has not been tested.
But the man is incumbent.
That has not been tested. That has not been tested. That has not been proven. That is an unscientific argument.
Okay. And so hold on.
Wait, also a comparative advantage.
Yeah, hold on. When it gets tested, you'll be in 2029.
No. I'm coming.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm coming. And I have, let me make my point.
Yeah,
it has no scientific basis. And I'm also afraid
evidence.
The biggest problem I have with it is that the CDC and Mr. Weah can then use it to rig the election and then say, well, and the Liberian people will accept it. because they have been conditioned into believing that Weah will win if the opposition doesn't come together. So then Weah rigs the election and say, well, he won. Yeah, the opposition didn't come together, so he finished winning the election. That's a danger we're playing with in that front that we need to be careful with as well.
Do somebody have to tell you that?
The third thing is, I didn't hear your question, but I can't be making my point and answering questions. So let me finish, and then I will answer your questions. The other concern I have about it is that it might even make people stay away from the election process, from voting. If we keep propagating this whole thing that somehow if the opposition don't come together, we will win. So people say, well, the opposition didn't come together, we will win. No need for me to vote, and stay away from the election. So it has the potential of also suppressing votes. Again, we need to be careful with that element of it. When these people form political parties, they form political parties because they believe they can win, because they believe they have ideas and ideologies. They have programs that can take the country forward. To just hijack them in the middle of it and say, oh, you know what, even though you want to be president forever, don't run, just come together and whatever, I think it's not going to work. What we need to do as Liberian people, what voters need to do, is to identify the right people out of the mix of all of these people and support them to win. Eventually, that's what happens, because there are 40-something political parties in the race. A lot of people are forming political parties because they just want to be minister or deputy or something tomorrow. All right. We need to then make a decision to say, no, this is the right person. These are the right people for us to support. We can't be coercing people to come together and abandon the vision and then say, if you don't come together, that means the incumbent will win. Let me give just a few things before I close here. The Unity Party won 2 elections, 2005 and 2011. They didn't have to come together with anybody, any political party. They got the support of the Liberian people. George Weah was this celebrity soccer player. They beat him because they had the support of the Liberian people.
Let's not go into that other dirty water.
Now, let's come. Let me make my final point.
Alphonso.
Let me make my final point. Let me make my final point. My final point here is this. When Mr. Weah won in 2017, I wrote the number down. Let me find it. But the difference he had over Joseph Boakai was 149,000 votes. Mm-hmm. That's when Weah was this celebrity who had not damaged the country, who had not done nothing. The difference was 149,000 votes. Mm-hmm. We have Bromsky in the race who took Bassa. It's not in the race anymore. We had Prince Johnson in the race who won 107,000 votes in Nimba. It's not in the race anymore. So it is possible to beat George Weah and the CDC without bringing all the opposition political parties. Is unity a good thing? Yes, I think they should unify. I think they should come together. We should encourage them to do so. We should encourage them to start attacking each other. But to put it out there that if the opposition doesn't come together, George Weah will win, I think we need to stop the argument. I think it's dangerous. I think it can suppress the votes. I think it can encourage George Weah to steal and get away with it, and it can be dangerous to the outcome of the elections.
Let me just add this.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Let me just add this. I think the coming together of the opposition don't mean that all of them have to come together and form one political institution. The coming together here, from my perspective, would mean that at least they must have relationship, so that when they cross the hump and get to the second round, potentially, then at that point they can say, okay, since Cummings is second in this race, we are. Then Unity Party has no option. Since we all have the same platform to move Weah, then we can move Weah. Instead of the Bronsky saying, oh, you know, I'm supporting nobody, you won't go, you're going your own way. That's the point here. This coming together doesn't mean in this round to squash your political party and put your support behind the 40-year man, or squash your political party and put your support behind the man who's sweeping, the hall. Squash your political party and put behind the man who doing things differently and not getting the same result. We want some kind of working relationship for the second round, because as divided as Moses said, as they rather continue to call each other by names, denigrate the parties. They are in this together. Again, nothing here is different from these guys' political platform. All of them want the same thing for the Liberian people. If Weah is so much this monster, if Weah is so much this bad, then in this round, before the elections, if they're not connected, if they don't have, what happens in the second round if it's Cummings? What happens in the second round if it's what's his name? Gonglo. It doesn't have to be Boyka. Everyone is speculating that it's Boyka because the UP is a stronger party, it's been around long, and Boyka's experience in 40 years and all of that. It couldn't be Boyka. But with Boyka going to the Supreme Court to testify against Cummings, would Boyka want to give his support to Cummings? Or at that point, monies begin to change hands. The government is already gone for $65 million to just put in Weah Jamaica Resort and say when the time comes, we'll call people and just get in the little and let them just get a photo of us. That's the fear. I think that's where the conversation. Am I right, gentlemen? Or if you have different
Hello, Volcano, a very good summary. That's the message that we are conveying tonight. We're not saying that, the 30 political parties should come together and say, today we'll carry Moses Sandy. No. We are basically saying that be civil. Don't tell people that Moses Sandy is a gay. That has nothing to do with Moses Sandy wanting to be an elected president. I'm just being hypothetical, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a gay. But what I'm saying here is let us do away with all this personal thing here. Oh, the other person will die tomorrow. That's not going to cut it. Deal with the issue. I have heard people from the Alternative National Congress say, as far as they are concerned, they prefer George Weah to UP or the CDC to UP. Come on, man. You must be out of your mind to make such a comparison. This is not a campaign for the UP, but for anyone in the right mind to say that they prefer the CDC.
My man, the UP, they said they can't even pay the rent. They don't want to be president.
No, but the point I'm trying to make here is don't be too bitter to the point that you create more enemies tomorrow. So what if Mr. Kwame advances to the second round? Will he not turn to the UP people to sit and talk? This election, I can predict that there's going to be a second round. We're talking about what? Anyone winning what? More than 60%, right? You need 61.
51.
51, right? You need 51 to be able to win automatically. And I can tell you, with the performance of the Weah administration, it is unlikely that he will even get to 40%. An opposition candidate will come closer. There will be a second term. To get that 51%, that is where collaboration will come in. Now, how are you going to go to collaboration when you're not speaking to Volcano Shelton, you're not speaking to Saint Abu? Because you say, Mr. Abu is a bad journalist. That's what we are saying. So Abu, go ahead.
So your prediction, quickly, Abu, before you come in, your prediction is second round.
There will obviously be a second round.
What if monies begin to change hands up front? Money can influence election, my man, especially in Liberia. Stop it, kind of thing. Let me say the Liberian is bad. For those of you who don't know what bad means, it means my friend in Liberian parlance.
Volcano, please. Let me tell you, my brother, whether money changes hands or not, obviously there will be a second round. Because why? The incumbent has failed miserably. Every day, Mr. Weah, people mount the podium. They do more public relations for the opposition. The administration has failed in every sector. That's why there will be a second round.
Okay, let's hear from Abu. Go ahead,
Because
Abu.
what is happening in this instant is that we have so many political parties, and it makes it difficult. Just as you said earlier, Volcano, many of them form the political parties so that in the end they can come and ask for deputy minister positions, secretary positions, and all of these things. Now, when we start looking at them, Alfonso, you said that voter backsliding or voter withdrawals from election. That's a very important point. I look at it too. But we are not saying here that we should go back to reorganize or the opposition should go back to reorganize the CPP. No. We are actually saying that let them be very civil. Let them be civil. We know the flaws in each of these political parties. Now, I brought up a point earlier. Is it the trust in the party leaders, or we are allowing our supporters to drive the party instead of the leaders driving the party? Because in every instance, people from Cummings camp will say, oh, if Joe Buckeye wins, that means it is all the people who are around Joe Buckeye that are going to be running the party. Then others will say, oh, if Cummings wins, it is the people around Cummings who are going to run who are going to run this nation. And then they are saying this for all of the other political parties. I think just today, Sarah Beslow Nyati came up. I think she's also moving forward as one of the presidential candidates. She'll be announcing her runner-up very
Our
soon.
United Nations woman.
Yes.
So
Why
that
you
will
laughing?
increase the candidates now to
You know.
31. Yeah.
Yeah, she said earlier that she's actually on the policy side. But we are not
Okay.
saying that we shut up policy in Liberia. The policies are there. The implementation is a problem. You know, everybody talk about corruption. Corruption.
Abu,
Yeah.
hold your thought there quick.
Because I would have
Viewers,
breaking news, though.
viewers, if you're just joining us, please, the number to call 404-272-2808, 404-272-2808. We want to hear from you. We're opening the line now. It's open. So we got 15 minutes here to engage you and for you to call in. After 15 minutes, we'll be going into our next segment of memory lane, whatever
Abu,
country.
hurry,
So,
I gotta make my second point.
So we have more. Why we are talking about dwindling the
Go
number of
ahead,
political parties?
Abu.
Why we're talking about dwindling the number of political parties? More people are coming in
Yeah,
expressing interest.
Sarah joined
And
the
I
group.
don't understand. Are they seeing and are they coming with anything different from what all the other people are saying? We can really say no. Fighting corruption can no longer be. It can no longer be a manifesto leader in Liberia, because Samuel Doe started a. Charles Taylor said because of corruption he brought war, kill people. We had a different interim governments. All of them they couldn't get it. Martin Ellen King, everybody has come. So corruption can no longer be. Our matter now is how are you going to fight these menaces in society? How are you going to make education better? How are you going to make the health system better? Okay. There's just one thing that sometimes people will not change. Liberia remains Liberia. Who loves Liberia most? It's difficult to say. Because our political leaders do not trust their own people behind them. They want to use the people, but then at the same time, the people also want to use the political leaders for their
Abu,
own.
as a courtesy, let me take this caller quick, okay? Sorry.
Thank you.
This is the caller segment, so we'll give them who you thought you will come back to you. The caller from 3949, and it seems to be a Washington, D.C. number. Welcome to the issues room. Caller, can you hear us? Hello, caller, can you hear us? All right, go ahead. Make your point. I don't know.
So, just as I was saying, the supporters actually are trying to feed on the leaders, and the leaders are also trying to feed on the supporters. Because some people go there, they join the political leaders because they want money. Few groups are coming about today. We are George Weah for second term. George Weah supporters for this place. My LA for second term. All these little groups come, nothing else they want but money. They feed on the political leaders because the political leaders, because the political leaders say, vote. What do they say? Election is numbers.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
it's numbers.
they
Yeah.
say election is numbers. So because of that, they can pay any amount of money to get you. And when the supporters see that, they come to you overnight. Gee, we got your supporters in this town, and they go there. They collect the money. They go, they put it in a packet. They buy one cup of rice to cook for the people. Everybody eat. As long as people can videotape. Everybody come around. They put it on the World Wide Web. They tell you, they may support you. He getting people. But one thing we gotta know: George Weah's term is over. He will go into. He will qualify. He may qualify. He may qualify for second term. For his second run, not for second presidency, for a runoff, and he's not going to win. That's when he will know that Liberians have resolved to get him out. Alphonso.
So yeah, definitely. So guys, we have no disagreement here when it comes to name calling. Definitely, there shouldn't be name calling. This should definitely not be calling somebody, somebody coming to die, somebody has a pacemaker, whatever. Dick Cheney had a pacemaker for years in this country when he was vice president. He survived. He ran the government with his pacemaker. So it don't mean anything. It don't mean much. Somebody's a gay, so what? Look at his policies and his plans and his, what he plans to do. Somebody has his pacemaker, look at his track record and what he can do. Definitely no name calling. We are all on board when it comes to name calling. My disagreement was clear. This whole idea that if political parties, all the opposition political parties don't come together, Josh Weah will win, I think it carries with it some danger that we need to be mindful of. Secondly, we talk about multiplicity of political parties. We have 40, 42, 48 political parties, everybody running for president. Part of the reason why is that we as a people and the other political leaders are very quick to reward these people when we know they're not going anywhere anyway. And they themselves know they're not going anywhere. They just come in for deputy minister job somewhere. I would send me to maritime. I would pledge my votes to you. When in fact and in essence, they don't really control their voters. The voters don't belong to them, but we reward them with these things. And so that's why we have the multiplicity. We need to get over that. America doesn't have two political parties. America has hundreds of political parties. One reason they have two political parties here is that the American voters decided, based upon that these are the two political parties they will support. Second, state laws prevent some of these political parties because of the requirements that are put in their path. For you to get on the stage, for you to register, for you to field a candidate, for you to do this, you have to meet these requirements, and they don't meet them. So I think what we need to do here, in as much as I encourage cooperation and collaboration, I don't think the outcome of the election and the future of the country depend on whether or not Mr. Gongolo, Mr. Cummings, Mr. Boakai decide to work together. It depends on the voters, and we need to reach the voters. If the voters believe that Mr. Boakai is the best candidate, whether Mr. Cummings tells his voters to vote for Boakai or not, the voters feel the pinch, they know their country, they should go there. And we should be working with the voters, not working to placate political leaders. When we do that, we create this problem. So everybody now forming political parties so we can work with them, so we can give them money, so we can, promise them positions, etc., etc. That's not helping our democracy. If the voters come up and say, look, we don't want you. These are the people that we want because these are the people we believe in. After a while, some of the people will start spending their small money to form political parties, and they will stop the process, and they will join the movement. I think part of it is we're encouraging them, and we're encouraging this thing by insisting that, anybody who forms a political party, whether in a briefcase or the bidding dumb boy, we must bring them on board, and everybody must join together and make a decision. I think,
You had to,
I mean, we
you had
have
to,
a young. Now,
big
my man, when he come, we'll have a conversation about it. So I think it's important. I believe that the voters of Liberia will determine the outcome of the election, not political leaders. If a political leader decides not to endorse, that doesn't mean that the voters who supported him in the first round will not vote for the other person. We need to focus on the voters, on the Liberian people, and continue to educate them about what the issues are and the challenges they're facing and how those challenges can be addressed. And not try to say, and I will repeat, and that will be that I'll end on this point. Guys,
Yeah.
I fear very much that
was
I'm ending 5
Mhm.
seconds. I
Okay.
fear very much that creating the narrative out there that it comics and Boakai and Gonglo and those people don't come together tomorrow and say Kumbaya and mean Joshua will win. It carries a lot of risk, and let's be mindful with projecting that out there, making it the narrative. I'm very concerned about that.
So quickly, Alfonso, I just want to say we have repeatedly said that the discussion here tonight is not about asking all these 30 political parties to come and say we're carrying John Brown.
How
We
many
are
are
on,
you asking to come together and say that? How many?
we are basically saying that we want our people to be civil with the voters' education process. Stop the name calling.
I agree with that.
Stop attacking one another.
Totally agree.
Speak to the issue. Speak to the issue. Speak to the issue. Sell your ideas so that tomorrow, when the need for collaboration arises, then people will not be hesitant. They will be able to do it. We don't want a repeat of what we saw with Councillor Charles Bronskin when he told his people, "Oh well, I don't want, I'm not going to endorse any candidate. I want you to make a choice and you make your decision." That was not leadership.
And then what
He
happened?
was
The party chairman, and then what happened? The party chairman Ben Sandy went
yeah,
and endorsed Weah.
yeah.
So if the
Exactly.
party chairman Ben Sandy endorses Weah, what do you think will happen to party's eyes?
Of course, his supporters will do.
Yeah.
So as a leader, I'm saying the late councillor was very selfish. He was not
But
nationalistic
the
at
late
all.
counselor was
Let
not
me
the
let me
only
compliment.
person. No,
No,
I'm
yeah,
adding to you.
yeah,
But
okay.
Cummings also did. He
Yeah.
was also
So
he made a
yeah,
similar comment.
so that's not the kind of thing that we want to see. We want people to say, "Hey, yeah, we didn't make it to the next level, but I think it is time that we endorse this person because we have some, relationship in terms of idea, in terms of where we want to see Liberia. I didn't make it to this level, but I think we can advance the cause of this group because this is about Liberia. This is about the good of Liberia. That's the message that we're conveying tonight. That please, our political leaders, our candidates, our partisans, our supporters, we are kind of appealing to all of you to put Liberia first. You do not want to give Mr. Weah the opportunity for him to be re-elected because doing so will be a curse. That's the message. Re-electing George Weah will be a curse on Liberia. Yes, that's the message I want everybody to get tonight.
Why you say the things that you want? But listen, man.
But man, that's it, Volcano. I mean,
Okay,
re-electing
so
this man is a curse. Yeah.
I've heard from all of you, and I think everyone's point here tonight makes a difference. But let me take this caller first before I continue. The caller calls from Rhode Island. Caller, welcome to the Issues Room. 8737. Your name. Hello, caller. Are you there? What's going on here with you people there? Hold on. Oh, man. Caller, are you there?
I think it's your system, maybe.
I will be my sister. I even took it off and I'm waiting to hear the caller. I
Okay.
guess something going
The other person, and say,
yeah. Oh, I'm gonna run behind the caller again, my man.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying something you want to try and see what's going on.
Hey,
You
So,
know.
so while you dialing the person, let me just say definitely name calling, especially on issue, not on issues, is wrong. So I
Yeah,
totally agree.
that's absolutely
I
wrong.
think they should focus on issues. As I said before, I think if they can come together and collaborate, that's even great.
Yeah.
And we should encourage that. I just want us to get away from the concept that if they do not,
if
then
people
George
have,
will win.
they have a problem with the connection.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I
anyway,
don't.
so
I think George Weah has done so badly. Uh, that George Weah has been so exposed right now. When George Weah won the election, George Weah was a darling. He was this great international soccer player that all the young people knew he was great. It's not like that anymore. He's been exposed. Now he's had government for 6 years. Now the voters have seen what he can do. So that's different. Now, the other factors and dynamics that we can look at. We can look at numbers. As I said before, when he won in 2017, he
listen,
won
let's
with
Yeah.
see.
Someone.
Call,
I think there's a call. Yeah. Yeah.
oh God.
I think
caller, are
there's a
you there?
call.
Can you hear us? If the phone is ringing in the pot, then why can we hear them?
Yeah.
Caller,
Hello?
I told you that the people problem. Caller, can you hear
Yeah.
us?
I
Hey,
think there's a
caller, can you hear
problem.
us? Caller, are you
Now,
hearing us?
Yeah, hello. Volcano is me from Livingston.
Yeah, my man. But what's going on with you? How you acting so?
Man, I joined the show today. Great discussion.
Hey, you can hear the man.
yeah.
Alfonso, actually rather, strike the point. Like we need, the opposition need to start, attacking each other. Like, it's not going to help, and we need to educate the voters. Like, we need to stop saying, oh, if the opposition are united, Jowiah will win. That's a bad message. We're telling Jowiah. So in case Jowiah break it, then you will say, oh yeah, the opposition will not unite. It was a great point he made. Again, the attack. I don't know, man. We just the opposition. We just have to stop attacking the leaders. Like Moses said, instead of saying someone get peacemaker, oh, they will die tomorrow. We don't have no one have authority over who will die today or tomorrow. And we need to stop attacking what type of lifestyle he's struggling with. We need to stick to the point, and we need to do that. But most of the opposition they'll attack the main opposition, which is JMP, and some JMP supporters attack them too. But we should focus on Jowiah. That's why Unity Party has started doing, like, try to focus on Jowiah and then not get distracted by attacking other opposition. That's just my points I wanted to make.
Thank you, Flambo. Thank you for calling. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for calling. We appreciate you.
Hello?
I don't know what's going on with that.
Uh,
It looks like he's not hearing you, but you're
Yeah,
hearing
but
him. Yeah.
personally, I would be surprised why he's
Yeah.
not hearing me. Not
In,
questioning.
okay.
in addition to that, can I come in?
Yeah.
You see, voter education is very, very paramount in every electoral process. For us in Liberia, we like to wait until the last minute of time before all these little NGOs come in to start talking about telling the people how to do the voting. But that's very wrong. When you sit down, the voters' minds are already poisoned by the work of, let's say, the CDC. CDC was opposition for 12 years. Even when they won the election, they still remain opposition. Every gathering of CDC is like a campaign gathering. From the first day, from the inauguration, every gathering is is a campaign gathering. The same songs have come all over. Everybody's singing the same song now. Because when people meet today, they sing the same song. So go, so go. The same people sing everything. So we really don't know who belongs to what party. But the voter education is very, very important, and I stick to this because why we tell people last minute to time, and as Alfonso said earlier, or Moses said, they make you very needy, they make you hungry, and come to you and start to behave like they are your saviors.
Yeah.
when CDC came, there was a time, especially like the Geelong election time, CDC has completely disintegrated. They were off balance because they couldn't understand how it happened. Even when George Weah went and stood on my father's grave, the Urey will not be this. When Moba Molu said they don't win, I will resign, and all of this. Let's look at this kind of people. You know, they are never consistent with what they do. They make their vows and they don't keep their vows. We see our president vacillating. Today he's dancing booga, tomorrow he stands in this place, and all of these things. So how are we going to trust this kind of people and still feel that Liberia must go forward? Will Liberia go forward with this kind of thing? And are we looking at Liberia, or we are only looking at the political leaders, or we're looking at what they do for us today?
Exactly.
We look at the educational system. People, Troy was talking about the economy, the GDP, this and that. How many people are graduating from the University of Liberia today and all the other universities that have jobs? How many of them got jobs? They got no jobs. They keep
No job.
graduating.
Yep.
And they don't have the seed money to return to go to do business.
Nope.
They are building market houses. The people are hardly in the market buildings. They are building roads. That's
Gentlemen,
sometimes
let me
only
take this other caller quick. Let me take the other caller quick. Hello, caller. Can you hear me? Caller, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Make your point.
No, I'm not hearing. Hello?
Yeah, if you're not hearing me, but you say hello, go ahead. Make your point.
Hello?
make your point. Make your point.
Talk,
please.
talk, talk.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, caller?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Make your point.
Thank you for taking my call. I want to say this thing first of all. Nobody from the UP should come here, the Unity Party, to come on this platform and talk about opposition unity. And here's why. What they have done, they have engineered the people to attack the standard bearer of the CPP and the vice standard bearer of the CPP. I can give you names of people who go out there, call Mr. Comey gay, call Charlie Bronskin a lesbian, and what have you. And these are strong supporters of the UP. One of them, which is called Aliyu Kamara, went on focus on Liberia on Sunday. On that show, he called Mr. Comey a Congo man and Charlene Bronsky a Congo woman, and they are coming back to take their country, and that these were the people, their parents killed over 75 chiefs in the Southeast, they enslaved the Liberian people, and what have you. These are UP supporters. So then when we respond, they come back and say we are attacking JMB. Let me tell you something. JMB is a list. He engineered these people when they're doing these things. He doesn't say anything to them, and we will respond proportionally because you know why? I'm here. I'm a grandchild of someone that have a Congo background. I didn't choose to be born by a Congo mother and a native father. There is no way you can separate my mother blood from me and my father blood from me. These are some of the reasons why we had that civil war in that country that so many people died. We cannot go back to try and preach tribalism and Congo and native divide because it had never ever benefited us and it will never benefit us. It needs to stop because they are setting the stage for another civil war in our country. And that's exactly what they're doing. Nobody choose to be born Pele. I didn't choose to be born a Pele man, my father being Pele, my mother from Congo, father being Congo, but my mama is Pele. So how do we separate each other? This thing needs to stop. And Joseph Boga, he's not a leader. He doesn't speak against these things. You know, he supported. As a matter of fact, I think he's the one that engineered it, and we will fight everything that we know about Joseph Boakai. If they attack our standard bearer, we will attack Joseph Boakai. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, gentlemen, I don't think we should misunderstand what he's saying. The same thing we're talking about here, because Moses, you referenced that if these kinds of sentiments are coming out, the leader in the political
Yeah.
party, the standard bearer, must denounce it.
Absolutely. That was there. That was what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, for anyone to do that is a problem. Let me take this next caller quick. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? All right, Charlie, hold on. Let me put you through. Just go ahead and make your point, okay? I don't know why the interface is not going through. Go ahead, make your point. You're live. You're live. Go ahead, make your point.
This is Charles Crawford, and I'm tempted to this show what I will say. Attacking the community that I belong to, which is the NGO. Say that when small NGO come to do voter awareness. But let me be quick to remind them that there's a timetable. There's a timetable. There's a timetable that NGO community about. Right now, from where I come from, the National Coordinating Committee, we have timetable to go on the field and do engage in civil education and educate people about how to vote. We're not going to tell them simply vote for John Brown or Mary Ford. We're going to tell them how to mark the ballot paper and how to go about the voting process. That's the work of NGO community. And we work alongside with Nation, and we go by the time to start with everything. Now, one question of why you are discussing that if you come in the opposition community does not come together, does not yes, we are going to win the election. I differ with that. Say we are on the same page. I agree with. All right. I'm in Liberia most of the time, and I see the suffering our people go through. Am I still there?
Yes, you are.
We are
Go
listening
ahead.
to you.
Charles, you go ahead, make your point. You're there.
Like one of the guys that made reference to Kaskin in 2017 when he lost the first round and he told his supporters so he goes in anybody. The voters did not sit there and listen to him. He went there well. Like he said, like you called Benjamin Savvy, he went OTC. They belong to Waka. So the people who are there feeling the day-to-day hardship of Liberia, they're going to make the case. It's not about
Yeah, but Charles, let me hold you there quick. I know that we're having a connection problem. The point I made, Charles, hold. Let me hold you there quick, and I want you to answer it. The reason I made that analogy was because if Bronsky had given a clear mandate to his partisans and said we're going behind Bwaka, then Ben Sanvi wouldn't have gone behind CDC. But he left it open to people to make the choice. That's the point. And can you speak to that? Make your point. Make your point.
Go. That's how my best friend went over to Helen Joseph Salif. And according to what I don't have a problem with it. You understand? So these guys that do this thing, they can't deliver for their own selfish game, not for the interest of the people, for their own selfish game. And at the end, if they have selfish game that they don't accomplish their aim, they become frustrated. It's all about themselves. But this time around, they will be voting for their life, for their future, the future of their children. Things are going wrong in our country, brother. And this election, everything comes on a team like this election. So let's get that notion away that it's complete under the opposition community does not come together.
I think he's in a place where his connection is bad. But I think he made his point.
Yeah, he did.
I guess all of us are, kind of mixing up a little bit. Alphonso's point is clear that we shouldn't preempt what we don't know, but we came from the perspective of have some kind of relationship, and that's what we emphasize here tonight. Don't be so at loggerhead until you get to the second round, try to mend fences. It'll be late. Have some kind of relationship. When you see people are seeing things in the wrong context, condemn it. For instance, calling the Congo people, then that means you got to talk to me because my great grandfather came from the Carolinas, but I'm a Liberian.
Yeah.
I'm a Liberian by blood, by birth, and you can't change that. And I don't see myself looking different from the Pele man or from my man Alphonso, who are not crew ball. You crew ball? or my man Moses, who is Vi. You know, we're all in this together. No, seriously.
I'm many.
You see, okay.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
Today I come from the same town that Joe we are come from.
See, so that tells you guys, I have not been even thinking that I'm a Congo man, so I'm going to allow myself to know people, right? Or the crew man, you got to follow
it's the gullibility of the voters.
Yeah. I think what it is that we must see Liberia as this country that all of us belong to and what we want for it. Because at the end of the day, I say this repeatedly, that these people will come and go. Just the other day, Chancellor was the czar. When Chancellor speaks, the country shuts down. What they did, they brought him back in Liberia with handcuffs.
Yeah.
Then they transported him to a 6x6 jail.
Yeah.
It will be the same for any leader who doesn't do good by the people. So there's nothing here to please anybody about. If you want to please the status quo, please your country. Do the right thing for your country. Liberia will remain, no matter how much we pillage the economy. From 1847 to 9, successive leadership have stolen from our country. But the country, maybe around GSA Road at Damo, we even know. Maybe around GSA Road. I need to buy my machine and go start.
That way you got your house, so you won't get
that way I'm from. Maybe right in my yard. I don't know. So the thing that I'm stealing from Liberia, you haven't stolen nothing. You haven't stolen nothing because the white people are smart. If they know that Liberia had nothing, they will not still be coming. They will not still be coming. So no matter what you guys do, you can't finish the country's resources. But if you put the country's resources to where it belongs for the betterment of the country, listen, if you provide the enabling environment and give the Liberian people the basic incentive, maybe they will be the one to say, let's change the constitution. We want a mayor. We want a man. We want a man. But when you come for the first 6 months and you start stealing so badly like this, that's the problem we're faced with. But gentlemen, we can't spend all night on this. We got to roll to our next segment. And so this segment,
let's do 5 seconds, please.
Okay, no problem. I will give you the minute of time. We'll go around 5 seconds. I was just trying to make my own point. 5 seconds. The boss still won't talk about. But man, Charlie, we can't take you again. We got to roll. Let hear from Charlie.
What you got to say?
That's doing good.
Charles, can you hear me?
Yeah. No, he's here. He's in the States.
Oh.
All right. Make your last point, my man. We'll put you to the microphone now.
Yeah. So am I live now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Go ahead. Let's make it quick.
Yeah, make it quick now. So just to conclude, this presidential election, it got to do with the livelihood of Liberians. It has to do with the future of Liberia's children. And so it's very paramount to the life and livelihood of our people. And so Liberians, they take this election very seriously. It has nothing to do with blockade. It has nothing to do with coming. Whether they come together or not, they will vote their future. They will go to the ballot box and count the vote, whoever they want. God will help them together. Thank you so much for giving me the time. And good night, guys. I best you off.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what the connection doing this, but it was good having you. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead. Alfonso, make a quick 5 minute point. We'll get to Abu and we'll get to
Oh, I
Moses.
thought, okay, I wanted a chief, but I'll go. So I think Abu made a very important point, and all of us here made that point. Voter education, and Brother Crawford, who called, made that point. Voter education is critical. I think we need to undermine these merchant politicians who come in this thing for money so they can be giving money to say, I pledge my voters, when in fact they don't even know what the voters will do when they enter the ballot box, or who come in this thing to get jobs. I think we need to educate voters to the point to undermine these merchant politicians to the point that the voters look for and vote based upon their interests and what's good for them and not what their political leaders tell them. Finally, I agree with everybody, with the guy who called and talked about how Congo divide or pacemaker or gay and all of those things. I think those things need to get out of our body politic. Let's debate based upon ideas and things that will move our country forward. I want to finally say to the political leaders, especially those in the opposition and everywhere, even including the
The
incumbents,
incumbent.
to issue statements saying that there's no place for this kind of politicking in Liberia. At the end of the day, we all want to move the country forward and let's work together. And that is a challenge I want to throw out there to our political leaders, to our political parties, to issue such a statement. And that message will go forth to their supporters to stop that. Because they will not hear everything every time their voters say it. But when you put it out there, you might dampen them saying it going forward.
Abu, quickly, 2 minutes.
Yes, we just want to say here too that calling names are not the best things that we have to do for the current political dispensation. What everybody has something, as I can say, everyone has something in their closet. The voters must understand that Liberia belongs to everybody. What they say that that politician got that you do not have, maybe just one or two opportunities over you, but you got more opportunity because you are the one who hold them where they are. So you have to educate yourself. And these NGOs we're talking about, we're not only talking about those that are coming for voter education. Voter education must be a round time because you have to ask the people, what do you need to vote for? What is the thing that you need? If we are going to wait until only time for election, the person will only tell you what the other politician has already told them, not really what is coming from their heart. Because there are some people who sit down, they really don't know what are the problems that they are facing. Because the problems are so many that they are not able to take out one and say that this is my priority problem and I want it solved. So we have to start looking at the voter education from the point where they will know what they are voting for. Everybody come and promise. You owe them because their promise is I will give you a job when I win. But they need your vote. So you got to play with them to be able to balance the issue that when they are promising you, they are promising you something sometimes they don't even have. But you got to vote in your hand because no matter what happens, there is an October 10 that is coming, and you will have to cast that vote for them. You got it. For them, they are not sure whether they will even get a vote so that they can give you a job. So the voters must know that their power is their vote. And they should not let the politicians, the political leaders, to be the one to say, I will do this for you, I'll do that for you. It's good, they will tell you they will do it, but do not depend on them. You are the one who had the card in your hand. You have the October 10 coming. October 10 is when you decide what Liberia need to be. Some people will
Moses,
say, oh, I don't want to have it, but sorry, just one last point. Please,
Yeah, go ahead.
Liberian, George Weah has failed. Politicians, get back together. We are not saying that go back to form yourself. Get yourself. Stop cursing one another. Stop using your voters to be throwing hints at other people. Nobody must tell us that this is politics. Politics is not about disgracing your friend. The ballot box is where we have to go to disgrace people. So please, Liberians, let us be Liberians today and tomorrow.
I would like to
What's this?
start by saying, yeah, I would like to start by re-emphasizing the point that October the 10th will be a decision-making day for Liberia. That's when the people of Liberia will decide whether the country moves forward or remain stagnant. You either maintain the status quo or you make a decision that will make your country to move forward. And I stand with those who will agree in unison that that October 10th will be that day that they will hold together to move the country forward, but not to retain the status quo. The status quo has failed miserably. Opposition politicians, please, like my colleagues have said, be civil. Stop the name calling. Talk to your supporters. Tell them to go out and propagate your messages of peace and reconciliation. We are not interested in name calling. That's how I would like to wrap it, Volcano.
From our end, very simple. There will be no opposition victory if they don't have relationships now. I remain resolute on this. There will be no opposition victory if they don't have relationship now. The relationship does not mean that they should denounce the political institutions and follow one person, but there must be some semblance of coming together. They should begin to dialogue behind the scenes now. They should look at the options. There's a lot of optionalities on the table. What if we talked about the hypotheticals months ago? So what is the what if this doesn't happen? What do we revert to do? What is the plan B? Because if they don't have it and they go helter skelter into the second round, Weah will become a second term president. I am being resolute on it, and if anybody wants to hit me in the head with a hammer, go ahead. But I am telling you that relationship in the opposition is paramount for an opposition party to win the elections. They cannot go religiously divided. There must be a degree of relationability. The other thing I want to emphasize, money going to change hands. And because of the gullibility of our society, if you don't have relationship and resolute on your platform and the things you want to accomplish, and we talked about all of those things in the platform that reverberates among all of them, the very corruption, the very rule of law, the very poor health care, the very mental health, the very increasing the economy, improving the economy to increase job. All of these things are the very things they're preaching. If they don't hold together doesn't mean denounce your political party and run separate, run in unison. We're saying that have some kind of relationship. So when you cross the hump, you'll be able to call and say, hey, Conglo, what you say now, my man? I'm the one who in the race. I went head to head with Weah. You're going to come on board. You're going to bring your people. Oh, no, my man, I'm giving my broom. I'll give my broom to Weah. Can you imagine Conglo taking a broom and giving it to Weah? That day, I will go straight to Alphonso house, and I'll come in with my shovel. Yeah.
And start breaking things, eh?
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Gonglo. So you want to have that relationship up front. So when you go behind the scene now, after that first round, and you jump the hump, whoever in the race, Cummins should be able to pick up the phone and say, my man, Baga, I know the post that you have 40 years. You've been there forever, but my man, you didn't cross the hump, but I'm the one now. I run you against me. What you gonna do? I understand you when you testify against me, but I forgive you. Let me get Unity Party on my side. That's what we're talking about here. If everybody is for the same purpose, that's the way I want to close.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. There was a great conversation. Let's go to the next.
How do you call it? What are the other?
We're coming. We're coming.
Yeah.
No. We're going to memory lane.
Memory lane.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you. We say thank you so much for the conversation tonight. Again, we will close at the end, but we have 2 more segments to go. Don't go away. These are the segments you want to be here for. We have memory lane. And Memory Lane is a segment that we have on the Issues Room, provided by Dr. A. Manin Sumo. Tonight, the caption is "Stop using people's hand to roast your palm nuts." Y'all know that parable? Won't put my hand in the fire to roast your palm nut. Hmm? Stop using
Yeah,
people's
man.
hand
Well, always take
to
us back to
palm
the
nut.
to Liberia.
And this is the caption written by Dr. Iman Sumo. Let's begin this portion of the Liberian history from President Tubman's administration. Y'all remember the Public Relations Officer, PRO,
Yeah,
formed
those
by
things, yeah.
President William V. S. Tubman. The PRO was an elite group of people loyal to Tubman. Their job was to report to Tubman anyone talking anything negative about the president. Worst of all, Tubman had these people on government salaries.
Yeah.
One of the notable victims of the PRO was Samuel David Coleman, the son of President William David Coleman. Based on lies by the PRO, Tubman arrested Samuel Coleman just as you saw the rep did. He and his PRO interrogated him without a court proceeding. He was tied up, beaten, dragged, and shot to death, along with his son Joseph S. Othello Coleman on June 27th, 1955, and many victims followed afterwards. All this due to feud and disagreement between former President William D. Coleman and President Tubman, who saw each other as enemies. The rep and President Weah sees each other as enemies. Take note. Y'all remember Samuel K. Doe and his Satu elite army? Former members of the People's Redemption Council, the PRC, who went against those policies were arrested rather by Satu and interrogated, tortured, and killed. People were framed to suit those claims of being targeted. Most notable was Gray D. Allison. Y'all remember Moses MMD Flanzameton, who couldn't kill Doe with a 50 caliber machine gun? What about Charles Taylor and his ATU army? We can all sing this song with heavy hearts. Politicians in Liberia are known for these framing up tactics to gain public sympathy. So we're asking you, Liberian people, to wake up. Let justice be done to the least victim of the framed up politicians' pandemic. I am hurting. And this is the masterpiece here by Manisuma, giving us some historical uh, look back into the past and now what is trending in Liberia with these surrogates and PROs in this current government. You can't say anything small about Mr. Weah. You hit the man, you hit the ball, you enemy of the CDC, and they look for you. That's the
Yeah.
situation. And this is by Dr. Manin Sumo.
Yeah. Those days, they refer to them as public relations officer that literally spied and make out tales about other Liberians
Yep.
who expressed their kind of opinion about what was happening in the country.
And
Can you
those
imagine
public,
that?
yep, and those public relation officers were actually everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're on a bus, it was in a taxi, and you were
They were sitting
criticizing
there.
the
Yeah.
government and whatever, they would snitch on you. They would tell on you. And that happened, by the way. I experienced it briefly on President Taylor. Was in a taxi cab, and we were talking, coming from red light, going something, and I was actually going to Cinco, going back home to Cinco. I was forced to get out of the taxi on the
Because
old
somebody
road
was monitoring you.
because somebody was in it, and I saw this guy, and I knew him from high school, and he was at what's this Taylor thing they had on the Cinco? Go ahead, I'll come to it later.
Watanga Beast.
Watanga. He was one of the commanders at Watanga.
Hmm.
I had to jump off on the. I jumped out of the desert.
You said, "Oh my God!"
Well, I had a similar thing. Mine was I came from LU campus in the 80s, or on LU, and coming out, we started talking a lot of politics. And I think from campus, we got in the taxi, we kept talking and talking and talking. So when the taxi came and stopped somewhere in front of Zion Academy,
Yeah,
we were
that's where
going
they
down Broad
had
Street, and there was, and that where they used to have G2.
yeah, the
You
G2
know,
office. Yeah,
yeah.
I can
So
still
the guy
remember.
stopped down. So as soon as the guy got down, then he said, "You come down."
Mm. You say you must get down.
Yeah. So why?
Oh my
We were
God.
two talking. He said, "Both of you come down." So we said, "We're not getting down." Then we started a little argument. Our early argument started. We started in there. Then the guy just threw his hand. Then two other guys came. Well, you guys gotta come down. They started roughing us. It took us straight to the charge of quarter. We stepped in jail the next morning before they free us.
Wow.
They said the guys
But
were talking
interestingly, right?
against the
Why do
government.
you
Then they
why do
told us
you
it was for security reason that they kept us.
you only, let me put this quick. You can only do a PRO when you have a one-party system. Why do PRO when your tenure will be over? You have 2 terms maximum. So what's the PRO about? Why have spies? Eh?
But if
Your
I
time
Volcano,
will be on no matter what you do. And say he wants to go back to war.
Well,
Seriously.
at least for George Weah times, just as you've said, they know that it's going to be 2 times and not more than that.
So they want to
Because
push it,
what they do is that they put you into an argument flight, a talk. Those who are very weak in the argument, if they cannot beat you, they tell you are just jealous of George Weah. He has been proven set and put himself in a place, and you are still there struggling, and they may not even know you.
No,
But you still see them after some time. They say, "Bah, man, come
All right,
on,
gentlemen,
man."
we got to go to whatever country is this. We're running out of
that's
time.
true.
Whatever country is this? All right, we got to go to that segment. Let's hit it. So let me initiate tonight. Samuel Abu,
Yeah.
what type of country is this? You have a finance minister who uses polished lies. He knows nothing about economics and finance to keep a country going. But he sits there and claims that he is the best finance minister in the history of the country. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this? Somebody who claims he's a candidate for master's degree. He's been candidate for the past 7 years. Economics, thinks that he knows economics more than anybody else.
Yeah.
What kind of country is this? People feel in law school and they still qualify them as lawyers in Liberia.
What type of country is this? The law school professor said, my course I taught, the people you passed, they didn't pass the course. So because of that, you passed there, I will resign. I'm not fixing my signature to no grade sheet when you pass my course. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this that your president, after 5 years of failed leadership, will have to fly to Israel to pray because the election is coming for the people to re-elect him?
What kind of country is that? The president always looking for holy bath.
Yeah. What the fuck country is this? They better go for draft house.
But Moses, let's just depict the trip. So the man arrives in Israel. Accordingly, the man was not given a military guard of honor.
No.
The man
And
got
what made it an official visit?
Yeah, it was not an official visit. The man
But
got
that's
to
what
the
they
end of
announced. That's
Muscle.
how they announced in Monrovia.
Yeah, but I
If
want
it's
to
an
see now.
official visit, that's what we expect.
My man, any seen people lie to us say the man was invited to the coronation of the king, and he went by Uber.
Yeah.
Hey, you saw the Uber.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is that the president here of forces certain things. According to the president left Liberia. Oh yeah, he left Liberia and he went in Ghana. He stayed in Ghana for 2 nights before he left on Monday. So what was he doing in Ghana in private
What was he
capacity?
doing in Ghana? Yeah.
How he
He
will not
shall
give
be
him
there for only 2 hours. From they say from Monrovia to Ghana is what 2 hours in Volcano.
Moses, stop. Listen to me sometime. The
Yeah.
man left Monrovia on the charter flight. Why is he
Yeah.
stopping in Ghana?
Yeah.
The charter flight takes you directly to Israel.
I mean that serious
Right?
question there for Claire we have to answer.
Yes. So
No,
he stops in Ghana.
sometimes it may not announce. He stops in Ghana. Sometimes
Oh,
that flight may not have license
Oh
or
man,
to go to Israel, so they had to stop in
man.
Ghana until they arrange that before they move.
Let's start again. No
But if
excuse.
the people in Israel invited him directly, then it's about to
Then why
happen.
you gotta go through Ghana?
That's it now.
Man. So let me finish my point here. You're spoiling the team. You gotta set the stage. The man leaves Monrovia, he stops in Ghana for 2 nights.
Wow.
Unofficial, right? There's no military guard honor inviting him. We see it around everywhere I see it. But he sleeps there 2 nights. Where is he sleeping? And we all hear the chatter that there's something going on in Ghana. I don't know what's going on, but there's something going on relationship wise.
Okay.
Then he leaves and go to Israel. He gets to Israel. He is not given a military guard of honor. He even see Benjamin Netanyahu and the people.
No.
What's the scheme for he and his whoever and carry them in the darkness?
Yes.
The only thing we see now, he holding the war. He asked, I don't know what he say. He was
The man went to pray, my man. The man went to pray.
But the
What
other problem
country
is,
Yeah.
if they were in Ghana for 2 days, 2 nights on a charter flight, that means while the plane was parked, they were paying for it too.
Of course.
So that even raised the cost of that trip.
Yeah.
You have an additional cost. Yeah.
Additional cost.
Yeah, but that's why the finance minister said we have a stable economy.
And that's
you
why
not
the
hear
finance
Minister
minister
Tuese?
said they're spending within their means. How is that spending within your means?
But not only that, how could he have spent within his means when he had to send for money while he was
Yeah.
enjoying himself at the World Cup?
Yeah.
Usually Zimbabwe came for the money. And
Yeah,
accordingly, there was some kind of rift with his money, and some people lost jobs and what have you. How can you spend within your means? You go and you overstay and you're asking for more
Yeah.
money. Is that
Yeah.
spending within? What type of country is this, gentlemen?
What type of country is this? What type of country is this that the president pastors and all kind of nyama people and spend thousands of dollars to charter plane and take them to Israel to go pray in front of the wall while the people whose money it is don't have food to eat?
What type of country is this?
What type of country is this? Pregnant women are being held in hospitals because they can't pay. What type of country is this?
Let me take this one from Floman Livingston. What type of country is this that it drugs now called Kush?
Yeah.
It's
What type of
destroying
country
our
is-
youth.
Yeah.
What type of country is this? You see the men becoming levitated. The men can
Yeah.
stand just to sell it, you know. And I mean, people are levitating off the ground.
The
and
couche,
sticking
my
to
man.
the-
Man, there's a plane cannot pay in the traffic, my man.
I went for a walk the other day and I saw one woman like that. I saw the woman like that. I said, "Oh, let me take her picture."
You thought I was statute?
I thought I was that. I said, "Oh, let me take her picture." But my man, damn. Yeah, it's not
What
easy.
type of What type of country is there? What type of country is there when you work for the entire month, when you ask for your pay, then your boss is in my man go home?
What kind of country is that, Liberia? You work even for 7 days, you will take the whole month pay.
They pay you for 1 month, even though you work for under 7 days.
Yeah.
Because pay that per month.
If they pay you. That is
If
if
they
they
pay
pay
you
you.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we get paid. That
But
monthly pay.
I don't think that's fair to the government though. How do you work for 7 days and get paid for a month?
But who paying you? And the government
That's
paying
that
you?
one. That all that one, according to it, I don't want to increase in the GDP.
Yeah. Now,
But
twice
what
said they
type of
took 27 million people out of poverty. I don't know how
Yeah.
that will happen.
what type of country is this that the president reversed to his butler, his bag boy, to be
Yeah.
his media
Oh yeah,
person?
media president. Yeah. What type of
What type
country
of
is
country is this?
Yeah, man,
You have
this
an information
photograph.
minister. Interestingly, in as much as my man can do his little thing all around the country, fight and sacrifice. I'm talking about Kwame Opa Weeks, Linda
Yeah. Oh
Panorama.
no, they don't take it.
I see them carrying that ball.
No, they don't.
And Kwame Opa Weeks will do a better job.
He
Of
really
course.
he does well sometimes.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. He does a very
But
good
where's the
field
press
work.
secretary? Where's the press secretary?
They
He
say the
only
man took
exists in name.
sabbatical. No, he
Yeah,
took
the-
sabbatical.
No, the man's on the ground, but he exists in
Oh, I
name.
thought the man was here in Iowa. I heard the man was in Iowa.
No,
Then he took sabbatical.
so look at
Yeah.
so let's in Monrovia, and
So I'm a real press secretary.
Oh, why they-
What type of country is this to
Anyway.
make the press secretary more real press secretary?
what type of country is it when you press secretary, you can't have access to the very president that you're supposed to be speaking for? What type of country is this? So look,
Oh.
can barely see the president.
Well, I don't want to say something because Abu is here. What type of country is it when Abu picking the ministers and the minister say he couldn't see the president too? The Abu picking and waiting to get felt me.
Yeah, the minister of information said has no access to the office of the president. Can you imagine that? What type of country is this?
What kind
He
of country
take it.
is
Mane
this?
Suma, let's pick up this from Mane Suma. What type of country is this when a congressman becomes a police investigator? What type of country is
Like,
this?
you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You saw the video, right? When you get
I saw the
arrested, a
video.
young lady.
But man, that young lady there, yeah, the girl.
That young lady,
go
she's
all
22.
out.
That girl is an armed
Against
robber.
a hardened criminal. Hardened criminal.
She's
my man.
an
I ain't
armed
taking
robber.
no side. I ain't taking no side. Those kind of people, my man. That girl had a single barrel. She corner you, she'll bust you. I'm not kidding you. Like,
But in
you is
fact, she
that
said that
bad.
what she does, she said she goes on the hustle. you
I
know.
go
I'm
do my
begging you, yeah.
I go do my wustle.
Yeah.
Wow.
27-year-old woman, that baby.
27, that's what they said exactly. So she's not a child, first of all, so it wasn't
And
child.
she's a mother. She's a mother of two.
And she herself said she actually stole and was doing armed robbery. So we need to be
She's
a
a
little
mother of
careful.
two,
how
yeah.
we come
What
to
kind of country
conclusions.
is that? The police arrest an armed robber or arrest somebody with illegal arms and holding the person with a hand instead of handcuffing them.
Yeah.
What type of country is
Let's
this?
go.
That's it. That's the simple thing for the woman. That's it. But a
Yeah.
criminal is a criminal. I ain't care whether you male or woman. Because I'm
Yeah,
telling
criminal
you,
is
for
a
me,
criminal.
my experience
Yeah.
in Liberia, Moses, Abu, and Alphonso, my experience in Liberia, you, if that girl has the opportunity to take your life from you, she will take it.
She would take a
For
definite.
her to hold that gun, if she was so afraid, she was gonna leave that gun because according to her lies, she found the gun under a mattress. Why you took
Mattress.
the gun?
Was
Why
that,
you
an,
took the gun?
was that an abandoned house?
Yeah, why you didn't leave it there?
She
So
said
she
she
took
entered
that gun.
one
mattress.
old man room. It was the room of an older man. Yeah, that's what
She
she
took
said.
So
the
what
gun
she
with
was
a
doing
purpose.
under the older man, my trying the fireplace?
No, she
She
said
came
About
to do
sneak
what too?
the gun with a
she's
purpose.
sneaking
I
in
ain't
on,
giving
yeah.
no credence to that. I'm not even in sympathy. A criminal is a criminal, whether you're a male or woman.
Yaka
criminal.
Koluba is not a model citizen, but at the same time, we can't be throwing the bucket and the chima at him right now, given the fact that this woman took gone to go commit robbery at his office. We gotta be a little careful.
And she admitted she didn't know it was a lawmaker office.
Yeah,
She was
we
young
gotta
on
be a
hustle.
little careful with
Go
those
on the
things.
hustle, man.
Justice is justice.
What kind of country? What kind of country is this? District number 10. Camp. What is it?
District
District number 10 candidate for CDC chap on her first day of presentation.
Oh, district number 10. What she said?
Yeah, hold on, let me go look. Let me look for
it. She attacked Yake Koluba.
She chopped on the first day.
The thing we did, the thing we were dead for the 12 years, the one we were dead.
Oh. Yeah. I think I shared that video in the Renova.
And you know what? Somebody was telling me that is a childhood. That is somebody who and I kind of grew up together, and I didn't recognize her.
Oh wow!
Her father was a county attorney.
Moses, did you see what I see in her? Her speech.
Her father was a judge, a lawyer.
Alex, she was mimicking Youngblood, the late Youngblood.
Yeah, yeah. When I listened to her, that's what she was trying. But that was really embarrassing, man.
Yeah, embarrassing. Yeah, how come the older generation knows something, the younger generation don't know nothing? I mean, her father was a lawyer.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And can you imagine this woman wants to be what? A lawmaker.
A lawmaker and can't even something. Well, they said she was an airline worker. So she used to cut tickets for Lone Star. Okay. Then that's how she got in touch with Weah then, and they made her Inspector General at Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Do they even understand that what is entailed in that job? Inspector General,
Inspector General, man. Commerce.
You think you have to go to a small store and look at can to see whether it expire? No.
That's how she started her thing. Old days she was looking for expired goods when she found out that some of the expired goods were imported by her boss man.
She let it go, right?
But canned food technically is not even expire on the expiry date, according to professionals, because I did talk to people who work in the industry.
So what's the duration? Is it what, 3-4 months after the expiration?
It's way more than that.
After 10 months, it's still
I spoke to a professional who said as long as the can is not open or it's not dented, but when it's dented on the side like this and stuff, because then it's not good.
Okay.
If any can, whether it expire or not expire, if it's dented, it's not good.
Okay.
Yeah, but okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but other than that, canned food can go for as long. That's why they tell you make sure you keep careful in your health for disaster and all of that. Because
so Alphonso, is it true that people are paying money so that they can get petition?
Oh yeah, but that's obvious.
So
man.
they can be petitioned?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you asking me? That's exactly what's happening 99% of the time.
They pay money to the people to petition them. The thing is business. It's business.
That's what I was talking about. Is it committee for the committee for the
hold on, man. Hold on.
Yeah.
Months.
Honorable Koluba, stop packing your bag.
Months.
You got a few more months. We will not insult you. That we have dead. That we dead.
We will not insult you. We have dead for the past 12 years. I mean, what? 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Now you have dead over the 6 years.
I really thought she was anyway.
Yeah, we have did. I thought this woman was intelligent,
Well, maybe she just misspoke.
Yeah, but
by misspeaking.
My man, no. Listen, let me hold on.
That was too glaring.
My man, the people writing, go to my whatever country is this? And the people segment here, let's get one from our Mexico country. Whatever country is this where the sitting senators have supported every budget we have sent but they are now talking rescuing the country with JMB. What type of country is
Joseph
this?
Conto.
What type of country is this? Flomo Livingstone, District number 7 or number 9 CDC representative said that George Weah will be one-term president. You heard the other guy? The
Wow,
man
I
was
didn't hear that.
oh, I will find it too. The man was talking, he misspoke. He said George Weah will be one-term president.
Really? Oh
They
my
see
God.
Republican-
I think he should pack his bag.
Man said Weah will be one-term president. Oh, I gotta find
Jefferson, could you already finish sending your boys? Oh?
it.
Who said that? Who said that?
One of the guys, man,
Is
the
that one
guy,
of the lawmakers?
Good at Solo.
yo,
One
some
of
guy,
the
he said
lawmakers said
Weah will
John
be
Weah would be a
one-term
one-term
president.
president.
Oh, Barney, maybe.
No,
Senator
not
I will be
Barney.
Barney.
We're not talking about
Barney
people
at
that are openly, opposed to the man. This man went to speak somewhere, and then I don't know
okay.
whether he misspoke, but
He
according to
misspoke. He said,
Volcano,
Oh, he
yeah,
misspoke. Really? Was it a miss? Oh God.
yeah,
Look
the
it up.
message job we will be a one-time president.
but that was Flomo Livingstone. That was Flomo Livingstone is referencing. That's what he said. He said we will be a one-term president.
Wow.
Okay.
But
But
all
gentlemen,
works.
we gotta
Yeah.
go. I mean, listen, we gotta go. Let me make it.
Yeah, we
It's
gotta go.
it's
Yeah,
4th of July. It's
obviously.
9
For
41.
sure. Yeah.
Let's give out 1 minute around the room and then wrap it up. We gotta go. I just realized the time, gentlemen.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. It's been
Abu,
no. So guys, I think it was a
Yes.
Abu, let's go
sorry.
with Abu. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay,
Sorry.
guys. Okay, guys. Issues room. I want to be very thankful to you guys
Thank you.
for affording me the opportunity to appear on your platform. I've always been a member. I've always been monitoring. You guys do very well, and I think this is a great opportunity to be here. But I still believe that the opposition must continue to talk to each other in a civil way. Let the leaders talk to their supporters and try to cut from the supporters' mouth. Please do not talk to the other people like that. Let's move in one direction. Let the shots be directed at one point. So we just want to say thank you to all of you. I'm always available. Anytime you're ready, please call me. I'm available. In the meantime, these are all Alja members. I want to use this opportunity to please ask you guys to go to Minnesota for the convention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abu.
Also, 1 minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think I'll even go 1 minute. Guys, I think it was a great conversation, great discussion, very enlightening. We definitely do a good job. I'm not touting my own horn here, but I think I'm
Yeah.
touting your horns. I think we do a really good job. We do a lot more than a lot of people. So I appreciate being a part of it. And I think opposition should stop name calling. Even the ruling party should stop name calling. And we should focus on the good of the country. But we'll also educate our voters to the point that they don't feel tethered. They don't feel connected to their political leaders, but to their interests and the interests of their communities. I think that's how we
Thank
move
you.
the country forward.
Yeah.
This is 1
Thank
minute
you.
quick.
Yeah, thank you guys. I want to say it was indeed a great show. And Mr. Abu, once again, let me say welcome. And we look forward to seeing you coming back. Your input was very, very encouraging. And we look forward to seeing you more coming to discuss these issues of the time. Again, let me re-emphasize, October 10th is that day that you either decide to move forward or you remain stagnant. And that is not what you want in life. Life is about progression. You can't always be at one level. When that happens to you, then something is not working out right. So please, my people, do not allow anyone to take your future away by giving you $20, $25, $100. When they give you that money, eat it. Ask them. 5 months ago, when elections were nowhere in the corner, why didn't you give me the money? Eat that money and decide the future of Liberia the right way. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. Gentlemen, again, as I reiterated, rather said earlier, I would like to reiterate that the opposition needs to have some kind of relationship as we go into these elections in the coming months, up to October 10th, because they will need each other. If all of them are propagating the same message to hoist we are the power, that is my point, and I hold to that point. Let the insiders, the stalwarts around these political aspirants, to stop the bickering, to stop the fighting, to stop the mudslinging, to stop the throwing dice. Let them focus on the mission. If the mission is to hoist Mr. Weah and prevent him from running, winning the second term, then that's what the mission should be, rather than assassinating characters and using vulgarities here, there, and yonder, and just making themselves look bad. At the end of the day, they're not hurting them, their political institutions. They're hurting the well-being of the Liberian people, because the byproduct is the Liberian people. They are the ones who are going to benefit from whatever decisions made. And not everyone will vote right. Not everyone will vote with sanity. Like you guys talking here tonight, voter registration, voter education, voters this, voter that. A lot of the people just looking for popularity, likability, and those character traits that they think that the partisans or the leaders in the party have, and they'll vote on those sentiments. So again, we say thank you to all of you who came here tonight. Can't go down the list, running out of time, but we'll be back here Tuesday with real talk. Again, we say we can have this conversation continuously. Oh, Friday. Sorry.
Yeah, Friday.
I don't know why I'm thinking the weekend is here.
I know,
but
man. Yeah.
Every time holiday takes you away from thinking it's weekday. You gotta get back to work tomorrow, right? I was thinking tomorrow is Saturday. So I gotta call it to get ourselves ready. But thank you guys for being here. It was a pleasure. We'll catch up again on Friday. Thank you all for watching. Please share the word, please share the link. Please invite people to join the issues room. People say we should spend money to get viewership. I don't know what that means, but those of you who are technologically,
we don't want to be fake,
contact us and let us talk. So
maybe that young man can help spread and help the process. So maybe we should encourage him to help with that. I think he had good sentiments.
Although that's we should spend money, so something got to be given. I don't know what that means. Thank you guys.